Good morning, everybody. Hello. Are we all good and fresh this morning? Nah? Are we feeling good? I'm feeling so good. I think I'm mostly more excited than everyone here. Nah? Are we all excited? Thank you so much for joining us. I just wanted to let you know we're going to start shortly. We're just going to wait for people to get their refreshments, but we're going to start just now. I don't know if everyone has had a cup of coffee, tea, or whatever. If you want to do that, you can quickly do that now. Otherwise, we're about to start the program. It's going to be a really beautiful day, and yeah. No one is getting tea yet. We good? Okay. Okay, we can start. Okay. Okay, there's some people walking in. Let me just, let's just give a little bit of a 1 minute, 2 minutes. Okay. All right, good morning again, once again. My name is Nceba Mqolomba. But you can call me Sivu for short because I know it is quite a long name. But my name is Nceba Mqolomba, and I am a filmmaker myself, producer, director, and I own my own company called Nceba Media. Now we get those formalities out. You know who I am. Welcome to the Eastern Cape Film Expo. This is quite an honor to be here. It's a highly anticipated event. This is the 3rd annual event that's happening now, and it's a very special platform to be in, especially in the Eastern Cape, as we all know that the film industry is still a developing process in the Eastern Cape. So it's very special for us to be here, and I'm very honored as a guest to have been invited in a prestigious event like this. And also as our guests, we are also highly honored that you are sitting here and you are being part of this movement, you are being part of these programs, and we really appreciate your support and your presence in where we are today, right? So let's welcome each other. We clap hands just as a warm welcome. And I want you guys to all be comfortable and, relaxed. It's going to be an interactive session that we're going to have. So it's all about also information sharing. This is why we are here, right? So thank you very much. So today, this film expo is supported and made possible by ECDC. And for those who do not know what ECDC stands for, it's the Eastern Cape Development Corporation, a really great institution that we actually have, full of smart people. We'd like to add that part, because they are all about development, and they're all about actually wanting to see the creative industry, especially the film division, grow into its full potential. So thankfully to them that we are sitting here today. And also these programs are also powered by ECPAC. ECPAC, for those who do not know, it's Eastern Cape. What does it stand for? Eastern Cape Arts, sorry? It's Eastern Cape Provincial Arts and Culture Council. This is what they also stand for, right? That's the and that agency is also all about development. They're all about film development and also arts and culture and craft and everything that's got to do with the creative industry. So it's also made possible by them, and this is the reason why we are here, right, as well. And then we have none but the least, our national platform where film is where you thrive as a filmmaker. And if you're a filmmaker and you do not know this platform, you must actually go and Google them and join and become part of the movement. So it's also made possible by the NFVF, And for those who do not know what they also stand for, it's the National Film and Video Foundation, right? They are all about funding, which is what we need, right, as filmmakers. They fund various films, from development to productions to post-production to film training, you name it, you know, anything that is related to film, video content, animation, they are your people to go to. So yeah, now that you know everybody and you know why we are here and who's making it possible, I'd like to then welcome our very first speaker, who's actually going to do another warm welcoming. Right? How's that? We're bringing it today. And so we have Mr. Nceba Mqolomba. Mr. Nceba is also a very important man. He's sitting right there. He's going to come up. And he's the director, Planning and Economic Development. He is with the Sarah Baartman District Municipality, which is also one of the partners within this film expo. And I mean, as a municipality, to be part of such a platform, we can also we can clap hands for that, you know. I think that's a very special partnership, because we do need our municipalities to join forces with institutions for development. So Mr. Mqolomba is actually going to take us through as to welcoming us and giving us a little bit as to why the interest of film development within the Eastern Cape. And he's actually a UCT alumni, I mean, amazing, with a bachelor's degree of social science and humanities. What a wow. What a wow. So let's, thank you so much for that warm welcome, Mr. Mqolomba. Over to you, and he will take us through.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Let me also take the opportunity to say good morning. Good morning. I'm very happy and well. I was here on Thursday last week. Very cold, but at least today, the sun has really given a warm welcome. You are mostly welcome in Makhanda Municipality. Makhanda Municipality is one of the 7 local municipalities in the Sarah Baartman district. We are very keen and we treat this sector, creative industry sector, very, very important to us. The creative industry in the Sarah Baartman district is a vital sector that contributes to the region's economic growth and development. Here are some of the key aspects of creative industry in the district. Key sectors: visual arts and craft. We've got some of the guys that are here. We brought 2 of the filmmakers from Sarah Baartman, mostly in Kocha region. Usually we bring 12. We bring 12 annually in the last 2 years, but due to financial constraints, we could only be able to bring 2 to this year. Cultural heritage. We have a rich cultural fabric with traditional rites, music, dancing, and art contributing to the country's sense of connection and community. Third one, design and creative services. Small regional concentrations with opportunities for growth, performance, and celebration. We are very privileged that we also host the National Arts Festival. That's where various diverse performances are taking place over the period. Last week, Thursday and Friday, up to Sunday, we also hosted the biggest Verde Fierce. This year we were celebrating Afrikaans for the 100 years of Afrikaans language. Therefore, it's one of the performance and areas that we really reach on as a district municipality. Initiatives and opportunities. One, cultural clustering. Research has shown that cultural clusters can form in small towns. We are an amalgamation of small towns as a district. It is very nice to visit Hanke. You'll be surprised who comes from Hanke. One of the top international comedian comes from Hanke. You'll be also surprised who comes from Grafreinet. You'll be surprised who comes from Akana. You'll be surprised who comes from Bethesda. These are small towns, but people that are coming from those small towns are rich in history, are rich in talent, and they have networked internationally. Therefore, that's what we pride ourselves as amalgamation of small towns under the 7 municipalities. The third one is LED. That's where I'm strongly at, as I indicated in the introduction. I'm a development planner. Local economic development, therefore, presents an opportunity for municipalities to harness and really host a creative industry as part of it. Tourism, we are the second, if not one of the two second economic driver of economic growth in the district is tourism. Obviously, agriculture is one of them. Challenges and considerations, which we hope the event over the 3 days will assist the district. The district, local municipalities do not have the resources to really engage and be able to develop this sector. Hence, we are looking for partnerships like this. We are hoping over the 3 days we will have IDC talking to us in terms of how they can support our sector, our filmmakers in the district. We are hoping that, I was even saying to the two delegates that are here, make sure that you get all the connections and contacts today in the next 3 days, so that immediately when the event is coming to an end, we start building up for the new year, for the next event in July in the 2026 financial year. Therefore, we want between events to be able to have an activity that is a result and outcome of today. Therefore, overall, the creative industry in the Sarah Baartman district has a potential for growth and development driven by rich cultural heritage and diverse landscape. We have great people in this area, diverse colored communities, African communities, Afrikaans communities, English, and so forth. Therefore, we have an opportunity that we can really use the creative industry space really to promote social cohesion and develop this industry into a unique kind of product that support economic development moving forward. We are looking forward for the next 3 days that you will really help our SMMEs and also help our delegates so that by the time they report, they wanted to talk to this, to that, to that, to that, to that. They want us, the district. We can only facilitate so that conversation starts and then our people are able to derive a benefit out of that. I hope that you will really enjoy, because I enjoyed the last year one. I hope also this year around you will enjoy the event and make use of the 3 days that you are here. Not network only, network to ensure that you are able to be part of the space so that by the end of this event, the next event, you are able to say, I did this, I got out of this, and I was able to benefit from here and there and there, and I've been able to work with, and then through this, we have been able to engage with ECDC. They are able to support us here, there, and there. Therefore, as a district municipality, we are there to assist, facilitate, and create a very good environment for the creative industry to strive. We don't have resources, but we have ambitions. We have resources in terms of human resources. We have facilities like this. We might not have the money, but utilize our facilities so that we'll be able to really grow this industry moving forward. You are mostly welcome. Please enjoy, and I hope this event can really support you in your endeavors as filmmakers, and also for those film owners or film producers can really see the landscape and see the opportunity of using our landscape and our diverse cultural heritage that we're so proud of in the Sarah Baartman district. You are mostly welcome. Please enjoy.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mqolomba. That was just really incredible to hear. I think for me, what I'm highly making a note is just your passion. Your drive and your passion is actually really inspiring. And yeah, we need more leaders like that as well. So thank you very much for that warm welcome. All right, so coming up next, we have a very local filmmaker, Mr. Nceba Mqolomba. I don't know if any of you know him or have ever heard of that name, but for those who don't, Nceba is a pioneer and a visionary, I would say. He's created a number of different programs, and he's developed, he was always part of developing the film industry within the Eastern Cape for quite some time, you know. He's the director of the Eastern Cape Film Festival, which is a festival that he also runs in Gariga. He is from Gariga, Etenaga, which is Utenaga. Yeah. So for those that are possibly visiting that side, you can always stay. But the one special program that he actually has developed is He's working with a variety of filmmakers where they develop films. So he actually creates a platform where there'll be 10 films that will be made by different teams. And through NFVF, the funder, he's able to then also allow filmmakers to produce good quality content, and also make sure that at some point it gets to platforms where they can be broadcasted. I mean, I think that's so wonderful, really. Like, we really have a great pioneer. So he's going to take us on a journey of how to become a successful filmmaker. So in the room here, who do we have as filmmakers? Let's start off, who are beginners in the film industry? Beginners. Okay, great. Pass or no? Beginners. Okay. This is definitely your time right now, you know. This is the moment right now where you actually can understand. And I'm so glad you are in this festival, because this is the platform where you actually going to really you're going to get information overload, you know. So make your notes. Take the time to understand. And let's see in the room our intermediate filmmakers. Okay, thank you, thank you. Also, this is a great platform. And then we have our advanced filmmakers, the real deals, the powerhouses that have actually clocked the finding. We're not all there yet. But yeah, I'd like to welcome Mr. Nceba Mqolomba up on the platform, and he's going to take us through the journey of how to become a successful filmmaker. Thank you, Nceba.
Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Molo. Hello, mic check. Good, yes, I bet. Ninjani, hello, how are you guys? They are Peter now. I'm just trying to. Molweni, guys. Yeah, I think it's much better. Yeah, ni right? Are you guys good? My name is Nceba Mqolomba from a small town called Kariega. For those who know this area, there's a river 20 kilometers from here called Kariega. But my town is 110 kilometers away from that river, but it's still called Kariega. We're here to engage, guys. Ne? So I'll talk briefly, the 30 minutes that I have. I'll talk briefly and I'll open up to the session. First and foremost, how many people here are producers? I only see 3 hands as producers. Lunga applying. You? Is there any other producer in the house? Marias, also. Okay. So I see 4 producers in the house, because I'm speaking to 2 producers, apparently. My name is Nceba Mqolomba. I am the founder and the director of the Eastern Cape Film Festival. We are turning 10 this year, in December. My journey as a filmmaker, it all started with a dream. I always say it all starts with a dream. Are you guys into film? Why are you into film? You were saying? Okay. Yeah, that's what film is. Tell stories, address issues, and basically change the narrative. Because as filmmakers, whatever we put out there, people believe is the truth, basically. Why did you choose to be a filmmaker? Because this is why Mbuza, why? Because for me, how it started. I grew up in Mthatha, and as a child, Ekaya, there was a TV this close. I used to come and sit in front of the TV like this and watch what's going on the whole time, basically. And my parents never understood, my family understood, but what's wrong with this guy? Is he crazy? Why is he doing this? But I always used to watch TV, and I used to look at TV, and I'm like, what I see there is not inspiring. So what I think I need to do is to do what she says is, if you feel that you're not being inspired by that, how can you change the narrative and inspire other people? So from there, I went to Natal Technikon. I finished my matric in Tata, went to Natal Technikon, 1993, 94, somewhere there. Yeah, 1994, yeah. I like the yo. Some of us here were still at school. Some of us were still almost being born. Some of us were still whatever. So I went to the Technikon because there were only two options then if you wanted to be in the creative arts. Now we are fortunate because we've got schools, we've got AFTAs, we've got WUSUs, we've got all this Natu film. We've got Film Hub, which is there as well. Oh, by the way, they're my partners for the Eastern Cape Film Festival 10 from 1 to 6 December at Film Hub. So there's only two options. Either you're a journalist, you study journalism, or you do speech and drama. Speech and drama is theater, basically. And I was among the second group of black filmmakers who were admitted, because this was like 1992, just after democracy, the first time we were open as a black person allowed to go to certain institutions. So I got there and I started a speech and drama. But after a while, I felt with this, I had to study and do the course, but it wasn't hitting me here. It was something completely different because we were being taught there about Elizabethan, the costumes, wardrobes, which was not what I wanted to achieve. I did that, went back home in Tata. I stayed there for a bit. And after that, I decided, no, man, guys, I need to go back to Joburg to start doing my hustle. My parents didn't understand what it is that I was doing. This is like 92. I remember mother tells me this story. It was 92. So I wanted to go do a film. And then my mother would say, my father would ask me, hey, Quentin, you don't know. And she asked my mother, what this guy wants to be? Who act shy? Who wants to film? Basically. So I had to kind of convince them. But they weren't really convinced because my parents are academics. And for me to go to Joburg, I basically had to take a track, and almost like rebel against the system. But guys, I have to go because this is my calling. Like you said, the calling. I took a truck, hitchhiked, Joburg, got there. First few months, hustles around, knocking on doors, trying to do A, B, C, and D. I remember I got there in 98. That was during the World Cup. The World Cup started, I was in Mthatha. The World Cup finished, I was in Joburg, trying to do the hustle. I started doing acting, doing adverts. But I could always feel, but I don't want to be in front of the camera. I want to be behind the camera. Because people like to be, when you say people like we want to do film, people think that it's about being an actor, being in front of camera, which is cool. But guys, as I ask how many projects are here, where is the money? Who controls the money in the film? Producer. Who raises the money in the film? Good. So maybe to ask you, what does a producer do? Also, give me your name first. Matthew Prince. What does a producer do?
Producer raises funds, obviously markets the film as well, in product where we're delivering to everything young people, location. Where's the money? The money. The producer has to find sponsors, has to raise money by selling whatever needs to be sold. Yes.
I love the fact you said we, which means you're a producer. When I asked for hands, I didn't see your hand about producers. Because you said we, and you're correct. Because, guys, without producers, there is no industry. Because producers are the employers anywhere you go. So, because even actors get paid by who? The producer. So if you want to be an actor, you're going to be paid by a producer, you're going to be cast, you're going to be all that. So then eventually, so my journey continues. I start this thing. I used to go to auditions, get there, feeling all confident, but yeah, I can actually do this. But once it says, okay, action, I would freeze up. I'd freeze up literally. I just couldn't speak. I couldn't do anything else, and I did get some roles, but I felt not comfortable for me. So you know what? Let me go behind the scenes. Started going behind the scenes. I stopped doing any acting work, and then I worked at Nando's. Do you know guys Nando's? I worked at Nando's for like 2 months. I was gaining 890 rands a day. A month. A day, I wish. A month. Yeah, 90 rands a day, a month. Because for me, it all starts with this, guys, with a passion. If you know what you want to do. Like for me, taking a truck to Joburg, I knew that I wanted to get to Joburg and do this, so I did it. So me saying, you know what, this is what I want to do. So I got there in June. I was staying with a friend of mine who was studying at Vets. So come November, they finished writing exams, and they say, okay, guys, exams finished, 1st of December, everyone has to vacate the rest. That's when I was like, oh, damn. Because now when the squatted, I'm doing, okay, I can basically sit with. That's when I went to Nando's. It was December. You know the thing of being out there, né? You want to stick a key. How important a key is, guys, in life. Like the producers are the key to the industry. I didn't have a key. I had to stay with a friend. So I just have to, a baseline. I don't think people know Baseline in Joburg. He was working as a manager at Baseline. So basically, I was working at Nando's from 8 in the morning until 4. And he would basically, and his shift would start at 6. So I'd wake up in the morning, go to work, and then when I'm finishing work, he'll be going to work. But because I had nowhere to stay, because I was relying on him, I'd have to basically stay and wait with him until he finishes shift, which is a nightclub, jazz club, so it means he'd finish at 2 or 3. And then from there, we'd go home. I get home, I wash, and then I leave, and I go back to work. I did that for 2 months. Guys, one thing, if you want to be in this industry, né? If you want to be doing this, you need to have passion, dedication, and know what you want. And know you're willing to sacrifice anything and everything just to make it happen, basically. I'm thinking I'll tell you maybe later about my journey over the past 6-7 days. Not years, 6-7 days. You guys have no idea. You guys have no idea what I've been through over the past 6-7 days. On Thursday, I stayed in Kareha, took a flight to Cape Town, delayed. From there, took a flight to Kenya, Nairobi, delayed. From there, took a flight from Kenya, Nairobi to Zanzibar. I was attending the Zanzibar International Film Festival, the 28th one. I was invited as a panelist. So I got there on Friday. Saturday, I did a presentation. Sunday, closing night. Monday morning, 1 o'clock, I had to leave the hotel room just to come and make it back here in time to come and be with you guys and speak to you guys here. That was another 2-day trip. Like at 2 days, the flight got delayed again. I ended up sleeping in Joburg on Monday. Yesterday, when I was coming here, when I got to the airport, there was a strike. There was only one security check-in open, OR Tambo International Airport. Almost didn't make my flight because I've never seen queues that long. Never in my life. Left and right, like queues. You know when you think you're walking past the guy, what are these guys doing here? When you get there, it's like, oops. You have to go, and you turn around all the way back there to the gate. It's a queue. For me to get in, I had to basically at some point look at the time, guys. My flight is boarding in 20 minutes. I had to ask people, guys, sorry, man. I made my way to the front, but I was still late. Got there to the check-in. The guy, sorry, but your flight is closed. I'm like, hey, I'm going through. I'll talk to them when I get there. My friends were supposed to leave at 11:10. At 11:15, I got to the gate 13 to board, and they told me it's closed. I'm like, hi, guys, not happening. I've been too much over the past few days. And fortunately, they did allow me. So it's about, as Nceba, I want you to be here. got there, flew to PE, got to PE, shuttle driver picked me up, went back home, dropped my stuff off, picked up stuff, straight to Makanda to come to be here with you guys. That's how much I value you guys, basically. So I'll continue my story. So when I was working at the baseline, when I was working at Nando's and my friend working at the baseline, I used to go and be there at the back. And that's why I used to interact with him, saying, this is what I'm trying to do, because it's networking, interacting is very important, guys, if you're in the film industry. That's why you get to meet people and you talk to people and things happen. So I used to do that every night, just doing that. And then fortunately, there's a lady called Caroline Karuma Seko. Some of you might know her. She's from Born Free Media, one of the top producers in the country. So this friend I met there, we did a networking session. This friend introduced me to Caroline Karu. And then I called her. She says, come see me. I went to see her, and this was on the second month. And I told myself, but guys, I didn't come here to Joburg to come work at Nando's. I came here to do what? So I was like, not end of this month, I'm going. I don't know where I'm going, but I've decided I'm leaving at the end of the month, no matter what happens. Fortunately, when I went to see Caroline Karu on the Tuesday, she was like, we talked. It's like, you're starting tomorrow. I started at second 80. There was the film I did was Nambita Mqolomba, was acting on that. This is my first time in the industry ever. I'm getting on set, like, okay, this is what I wanted. I get there. Nambita Mqolomba comes in, like other people, Tumisani Pakati, Eugene Paramur, many other producers. So we worked on that. It was a training program by SABC where they had 6 directors and 6 producers who were basically who were trained to become producers or whatever. So I got an opportunity to get in like that. I got into like that, and I never looked back, basically. I started working on that, and fortunately, my journey started going up and up and up and up. Ended up in the film industry, director, producer. I've done everything in the industry because it is critical, guys, to understand all the facets that happen in a film set. Right now, where I sit, I've been a director, producer. I know how to shoot, I know how to edit, I know how to do sound, locations, all those things, makeup, wardrobe, because sometimes you get to a point where especially us, how many producers here have money they're finding all the time? But how many people here produce either way? How? How do you produce that money? Yeah, it's going out there and making means and making sure things happen one way or the other. And now if you are shooting on a film, let's say you don't have budget, you want to shoot a film. Now your camera guy says, no, you don't want to pay me. I don't like this coffee. There's no breakfast here. I'm leaving. Who's going to take care of that camera? You need to know, at least to understand how it operates. Not saying you're a DOP, but at least you know how to operate a camera. If he leaves, you can put it here. So I did all those different jobs. Part of the jobs I did, you might know, some of you might know shows like A Toasty Show, Oyini's Love, Khumbule Khaya, Walala Wasala, the first reality shows basically in South Africa. I started all of them. But now I don't know, for some funny reason or other, I hate reality TV because it's moved. It's moved. I don't want to go into politics because people do reality TV here, but it's reality TV. If you know what I mean, they tell people to stop and act. Okay, wait, don't surprise them. Like, wait. Camera turns around. Okay, action. Look surprised. Oh, you really got there today. Come on, like if you look at TV, you understand. You can see why there's a camera inside, the camera outside. So you think about how did it get in if it's a surprise. So that's why. Okay, it's all that. So reality TVs are good, but so I started shows like that. I did many shows. I did international productions. There's Oscar-winning one, The Last King of Scotland, on Idi Amin. I did one called International French Canadian Production, Dr. Lucille Tisdale, with there's this black guy, I just forgot his name now, one of the leisure guys. So I was fortunate to work with the top people in the industry, top production companies, and then I did that. worked that, and then at some point, King was like, okay, guys, my plan was to come to Joburg for 10 years, learn what I can do, network, get skills, get information, and then come back home to the Eastern Cape to come and take my information that I have and give it to my people. So I left, I came back home. I left and I came back home, and I started hustling. Started the Eastern Cape Film Festival, doing skills upliftment, development, teaching people. Over the past 10 years, I think I've trained over 1,000 people. Over 1,000 people that I've trained over the past few years. And some of them have actually gotten to a point now they're basically superstars, they're top directors, they've got multi-award winning thingies. And what I've been doing over the past few years is doing training and development. One of the issues we have, guys, as filmmakers, especially in the province, there are institutions like the NFVF, National Film and Video Foundation, which funds films. One of the things to get funded is, do you know what, if you want to get your film funded, besides everything else, do you know what is the most important thing that gets your film funded? The critical thing that gets people to decide if they will choose yours, yes or no. It's a script, guys. It's a script. You can have a brilliant idea, because people come to you, I've got a brilliant idea, but then it happens to, it's the script. Like there's everything else, there's a synopsis, log line, tagline, character bibles, all that journey, marketing, distribution plan, but critically, people look at the script. Is there a story here? Is the story good? Does the script have MTP, major turning points? Is there a 3-act structure, beginning, the middle, and the end? Are the characters involved in that script? And then the whole NFF will decide, this thing makes sense or not, because there are 200 people who applied. Only 10 people can be accepted. So the script becomes very critical. So I decided since 2021, 22, let me start focusing on script development courses. I did a couple, started with the online ones during COVID, and then 3 years after that, I did a first physical one, and then in 2023, I did one called EC Skills, but physically for 3 months script writing program, funded by NFVF to the PSP, where we had 20 script writers, for disabled people, 70% was females, where I said, guys, once we finish doing the scripts, what we're going to do is basically take the top 10 scripts and go apply for funding so we can produce those films. Because now for 3 years we've been doing script. You can see now we're going somewhere. But after the script is done, we have to start showing production. Applied for the next one, and then I got that, again from NFF and PSP. And we did something called EC Skills then, which was done 2 years ago, where basically we did 10 short films, and we employed over 320 people, all from the Eastern Cape. But the concept was basically taking people like Luzuko, who established producers, and link them up with upcoming people. So you get a Zuko not data who comes in and he has a trainee director. You get an actor, top actor, Unatiplaki, Kanyesa Punu, among others, and then they basically work with upcoming unknown local actors. Because what we did before was train people so that we can say we're going to get to this point at some point, and you basically do this. So we did that, but guys, and people understand, the journey of a film, guys, takes forever. It takes like 5 to 10 years. That project has been 3 years in the making. I'm now in post-production. One of the films was to be screened here, Uzania, which was the first film that we actually did, by the way, to be screened here. So the other 2 films right now, out of the 10, are still in post-production. So we're still doing that. There's still a journey. But other ones are doing marketing. That's why when I'm in Zanzibar, I was basically screening a film. I did a panel session, and we're basically putting them out there right now. That's the journey. So it's been amazing because Uzuko no tata. Do you guys know Uzuko? No tata. No one knows Zuko in this house? Okay, only 2 people. So he came through on set. We found one of a trainee ADs was Lusanda Paya. We trained as a AD. He worked with her because he did 2 of the 10 films. He was so impressed with her that he stole it from me. Wamba. I was like, I'm stealing her. I'm going to Joburg. I'm doing international feature film for Netflix. I had to take her. So she basically took them. Because these are the outcomes of the things and programs that you are trying to do, guys, to see what happens and how we can take it further. So the journey has been long. It's been hard. Not it has been. The journey is long. It is hard. It is not there. I'm not there. I'm not finished yet. I'm still moving. Yes, I might have won 1 or 2 awards in but it doesn't really matter because the journey is still far. Still a long way to go. So in this industry, guys, you need dedication. First and foremost, you need to know what you want to do. Secondly, why? If you think you're in this industry to make money, forget it. No, serious. See, like if you thought you would make money, not. Because these things, like I said, they take time. And then by the time you get any funding from anyone else, 3, 4 years later, you finish and spend all that money. You spend 300,000 of your own pocket to do this project. Now you get 200,000 rands for you to continue moving. Same thing. So if you think you have all the money, guys, like I saying, give up. You should know why you're here, what you're here for, and then know that you have to hustle. You have to push. You have to do everything else to make sure. Sorry, I was checking the timings. To make sure this is possible. What I'm gonna do now is, are there other people here in the house who would like to have any engagements? I'm just trying to do a brief, but I wanna be able to give people time to engage. I believe I've got a bit of knowledge. Been 28 years or 29 years in the industry now, that I believe that I can share with you guys, that I'd like to share with you guys. So I would like it if we're gonna get to a point where we interact now. And then you ask me questions, and I continue. You ask me questions, and because that was just a brief of who I am, and I never like talking about myself. I prefer to see who goes and says, tells all these things, reads my profile and all that, and then I get on stage and I just talk, it's basically what I'm here to talk about, and I go somewhere else. So I would like to offer a chance to people to start engaging with me right now. The screening. Okay, but that will be specifically for the film. I was talking about the industry, production, producers, just engage now. If you want to be a producer, how do you do this? How do you go funding? Which funding bodies exist in this country, guys? Film funding bodies, which exist in this country? NFVF and? I know, this is why I can see IDCs, yeah, there's ECDC, there's whatever, but I'm like, because this is why we're engaging, we're trying to give information, so how it takes. I'm been fortunate that when I do something, some projects, I get funded. And people say, no, you get funded a lot, but if you look at, have any of you guys applied for funding from the NFVF? Yeah. You find it, apply for funding, ne? There's the portal, ne? So you go on the portal, then it shows you your past projects. It will show you like 10 projects that you applied for. And the sad thing with that portal, that thing never disappears. Only whenever you open the portal, it will show you, but declined, I know, declined after review, rejected. So it's always sad. And then sometimes you start a project, you try to apply, but it doesn't happen in time because registered, it's worse, it's registered, it's in red. And you can never basically take that out. So you always have to go there, like, it's a learning curve, basically. NFVF is the main funding body. They fund every 3 months, every quarter. They've got a call. Development, it has R&D, research and development, which means you can go to them and have an idea. You have to come obviously, you guys go to the NFF website, but they've got that every 3 months they put out funding. Research and development, and then there's production, and then there's post-production, and then there's archive, and then there's marketing and distribution. Which means if you are able to get your project done properly, you can go to NFF now and knock and say, research and development for documentaries, 180,000. For short films, 230,000 rands. Then you've got 230 rands to be able to go and do research and development, to research and develop your concept, come together. Once that is done, the beautiful thing is what the expectations are, that they will ask you for, first it's going to be a research report, and then an outline, and then a treatment, and then a script. And when you go apply for the next cycle, which is production, they ask you exactly for all those things. So by the time you finish your research and development, you've got all those things, so you can keep them and save them, put them in your locker. When you go apply, you take all those things that they approved and you use them to apply for funding. You get the funding, for example, you get the funding, now that's production. You do your production, you finish that. You can go back to them and apply for post-production. Production is anything about, is it 1.8 million cap for production? For, let's say you've got 200,000 for research and development. Then you apply for 1.8 million for production, that's 2 million rands. Then you can go apply for post-production up to 500,000 rands. Then you can go apply for archive, which is 350,000 rands. What's done? Then you can go apply for marketing distribution, which is 500,000 rands. So you can easily get 3 or 4 million rands just from the National Film and Video Foundation. But you don't rely there. The institutions like the IDC helps fund films. There's the ECDC, Eastern Cape Development Corporation, they help fund films. If maybe you want to go shoot, you go to NFF, you apply to this, you go to the KZN Film Commission or Gauteng Film Commission, there are funding opportunities there. Because you need to tweak, and when you do apply for funding, institutions like NFF, they want to see what you have in your pocket and how you can do it. If you say, my film is going to be worth 8 million rands, I'm asking you guys for 1.8 million. The question is going to be, but if we give him 1.8 million, because we like his concept and idea so much, what if he doesn't get the rest of the money? He won't be able to complete his project. So you know what? Let's put him aside. Now you go to ECDC or you go to IDC and you apply for funding from them. And then they come back and say, yes. So now when you're going to apply to NFM and say, I'm looking for 8 million rands, this is my production, but I want 1.8 million. IDC has already given me a letter of confirming that they're basically going to be able to basically take my film. Then ECDC gives you one for 2 million rands. So then when you look at this, you're like, okay, this guy's already got other funders secured. So he is the most likely, because if you have to decide, but I've got these 5 projects, this one, but this one has got other funding already attached to the concept. So let us give him the best chance because he's the most likely to be able to do the production. Basically, that's done. You do that. Like it's there's so much. Then at the same time, you can go back and co-twine. There's corporations. There's what's this thing called? Companies, corporate. You can go to corporates and go and apply. Let's say, for example, you say in Makanda, there's a Pick and Pay there, Pick and Pay in town. Willow Tree, I think, is it called? So there you go to Willow Tree and say, guys, I want to shoot a film in Makanda. I won't be able to have enough budget. Can you guys feed me, my crew? And they say yes. You put that in your application and you put that in your letter so people know, wow, there is someone else who believes in the story besides us. Because like same going to ECDC, going to IDC, going to people going to say, have you talked to the NFF? What did they say? You go apply internationally, there's the Better Fund, there's so many international funding agencies. But the question they always ask, have you first started home? Have you applied at home? What have they said? Because that shows that there is commitment, there is hunger, there is chance of this thing going further, because that's what people want at the end of the day. So when they do the reports, they can see by now we funded 10 films. They all came out because we say we funded 5 films. It's like when people, there's NFF, there's tier 1, tier 2, there's tier 3. Do you guys know the tiers? I think only 2 people or 3 people have applied for NFF in this room, ne? From what I saw. There's 3 different tiers. Tier 1, we must have produced more than a certain number of films. Theoretically released, 5 films and above. Then there's tier 2, which is up to 2 films. And then there's tier 3, which is beginners coming from film school. But obviously when they fund based on, you are tier 3, so we can't give you 3 million rands. We can give you 300,000 rands, so you can go and try and come back with a proof of concept, so you can jump and become tier 2. You do 3 of those, you become tier 5, tier 1. So we need to understand those things. Guys, I promise you guys, if you haven't applied, if you guys filmmakers in this room. Not serious, because if you don't know NFF, it scares me. It scares me you don't know about the NFF. That's the main funding organization. You need to know about those guys because they fund. And you come from a province called the Eastern Cape, which is looked as an under-serviced area. Which means when you get there and you go and apply, it's there, it's in the funding policy and it's in the policies. They need to do that. So when you walk into there, if I'm walking in with UCC from a Joburg, I've got more points just because I come from the Eastern Cape. If I'm using women, youth, people with disabilities, I've got already the bonus points. The points in just lalayo, basically, just just points you get just for come from the Eastern Cape. I'm using youth. I'm shooting in a rural area. These are things to note. This is how you get funded by organizations like that, basically. So we need to do our research, guys. Check out NFF, but critically, guys, you need to read. NFF has got a funding policy. Even when you do an application, it says before you start the application, first download and read our funding guiding policy, so you know what's going on. And then you read the NFF actual policy, what they are what they're here to do. We're here to grow the film industry. We're here to create jobs. We're here to do this. And then you work your proposal towards what that says. So when they read it, they see, this guy basically, because there's going to be like people judging your thingy. And then when it comes to this one's got more kids, this one's got more disabled, this one from the Eastern Cape, those are points, guys, that you have to understand. And I'm saying, if we are filmmakers, please just take a thing. We can just start by just going to the NFF and just check latest news, funding policies, what they fund. They fund everything from festivals. Like I went to Zanzibar, they funded that. It's called festival attendance. You get 2 international film festivals and 1 local film festival that you can apply for a year. The international film festivals are 50,000 rands. The local ones, I think it's 20 or 30,000 rands that you can apply for. When I go to Durban International Film Festival, but you have to go there. When you do your application, you have to show why are you going there. You can't just say, I just want to go to TIFF. Why? I just want to go talk to people. We have to have everything, especially now if you are able to talk to people in advance and they're going to want an invitation letter or a program or something like that. If you're taking your film to your film to Cannes or Toronto or TIFF, then I ask for those, obviously, synopsis, film, trailers, and all that. So we need to understand these processes, guys, as producers. The 3 of us who are producers in this room. Okay. So, guys, I've got 5 minutes left. One more time again now to say, is there anyone who'd like to ask anything? Okay, to get in field. Okay, maybe I won't understand when you say what opportunities. Oh, okay, in our province, we don't have much opportunities as other provinces. But what I'd suggest is people become active, and people look at companies. Luzuko runs New Brighton Pictures. I run Intercape Film Studios. Also runs company. So you network and you go to say, guys, this is what I'm doing. I can start anywhere. I can start as a PA. I can start by doing coffee. I can start by doing this. And then once you get there, like I said, you get there and say, guys, I'll do it for free. And you're like, please don't tell me to do it for free. Like, I can do it for free. Hopefully, at least give you money to get there because it's about experience. Because when people have to look, they have to see who is candidate, and they look, okay, let's see CV. This one has done 3 jobs. You're going to put on your CV that I did three jobs, I wasn't paid. They don't know that. You just say, I did 3 films, I was a producer, 81 that. So it starts with that, guys. We have to interact. Like during, how long are you guys here for? At the Expo. 1 day. So what I suggest is today, maximize it. Fortunately, people have got these things. We show who's what they do. Then you go network. I hear you're a filmmaker. I hear you're a director. Because what skills do you guys have? Like what skills? Like in the industry, there's different roles in film. So like what skills do you have, for example? Director, producer, editor, sound, lighting, rig, spec, gaffer. What do you guys do? Writing and directing. So you should basically find the writers and directors here that you can link up with. Because you might say you're a writer, né? But you're not actually understanding exactly what a script writer does. Because you ain't trained. Because, like I go back to NFF, they do training programs, say Deba Spark program, stuff like that I do. Then you get to understand because people know how to write scripts or ideas, not scripts. Because script is something completely different. This is why a script, before you shoot, it's a script, it gets taken, and then it turns into a screenplay. There's a difference there. There's a script, which is what you write, the idea. There's a screenplay, which is what's going to be on TV. Because when you're writing, we don't want to hear you say, knocks on the door, he looks worried. Like he knows who's behind the door. We don't talk like that because it has to be saying, knock on the door. You see him picking up his things, pacing up and down, looking at his watch. He opens his WhatsApp. He sees like, if you don't open this door now, I'll kick you. Like it's script writing is it's a specific skill, guys. So what I suggest is stick with people, ask script writers, ask directors what they do and how you can learn from them. Ask them to mentor you. I think right now, I've got I'm about 2,000 mentees, people that I mentor on a constant basis. When they've got issues, I can come and assist. So you guys, I can offer that as well. If you guys are keen, we link up. There's something also called the Eastern Cape Film Forum, which is a WhatsApp group. It's also on Facebook, which has got over 230, 40 people where we put out opportunities. There are plenty of programs now. There's one, what's it called? There's one being done by, I think, Massive Media. There's always opportunities. Because sometimes you come, you finish, but then you need to go get the actual experience. So let's network, guys. Let's find the Eastern Cape Film Forum. Let's find Eastern Cape Film Festival on Facebook. And then see that because you always post opportunities there. Thank you, guys. Anyway, okay. Any other question before I leave? It's scriptwriter's decision. Because if you write a film about children, like I saw one now in Ziv, with just 2 boys, first time acting, it depends on the script. If you want to write a film about experiences, how you write it matters. But there is no law against doing that. It's just not enough script writers focus on that. But there is no law in challenge. Not face on a constant daily basis. It's I think it will be one of those, it will be the rejections, and from our province, the lack of funding, mostly. And of course, now, especially when you work with crews and producers, like on this production I just did, I did 320 people. So now you have to report to 320 people. Everyone's like, hi, Mna, I think I breakfast. Hi, Mna, lunch is cold. It's that thing. It's just, it's dealing with people because industry, and very critical guys in the industry, né? Two things. One, you're as good as your last job. It doesn't matter how good you are. If on one film you make a mistake, you won't be referred again. Secondly, when you work on sets, guys, always have a good attitude. Because people are going to pick up the phone and say, Nceba, I'm looking for a DOP, I'm looking for a director. Who can you recommend? I'm like, not that one. Mr. Prince, I want you on set. It's always give me attitude because you hate someone. Because there are film sets where the director and the producer or director and the camera DOP, they don't speak. They don't speak, but on set, it's professional. They get the job done. So always make sure you do the best you do, because when I was in job, I never struggled ever for a job. I was the one who said, every winter holidays, I'm taking a break. I don't work in winter because I want to take a break. Because it's how you work, and people always want you back, that's all. As in tools, you mean like where you can go to get information? Tools, there's something called YouTube. Né? YouTube is very good from anything and everything. If you want to be an editor, you can't afford to go to a school or there's no school, you go onto YouTube, there are tutorials. So YouTube is very, very good on that. I'm not sure which other platform is as good as YouTube. If you go to YouTube, you say directing, producing, there's tutorials. So get used to YouTube. Do you guys have Wi-Fi at school? Perfect. So instead of being on WhatsApp and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, and all those things, do that to understand your industry. If you say every day, once an hour a day, I'm going to sit there and just find out about that, because you only get better. Like it's like in football, they say you have to play for 10,000 hours to be professional. So same thing with film. You have to keep doing. You have to keep doing it. Always remember that a day spent without learning is a day wasted. So every day you learn something else. Our technology is advancing all the time. And for me, I hate AI. I kid you not, do not do AI. That's my suggestion, because you lose your creativity. You lose your thinking because it does everything for you. You can go into AI now and say, give me a synopsis, give me a script, give me this, they'll give you that. Then you can take it and give it to someone else. But people can see if it's AI. And AI is got a footprint that if you type the same thing to give you exactly, you can say, man, this guy gave me something that's AI generated. It doesn't make sense. I'm not basically working with this person again because they gave me someone else's concept, basically. Okay. It's funding. It's you can do anything, because we don't want only one. People don't want only one kind of thing is, but you can do multiple. But what the main thing is the script. Like you're gonna always have to have a log line, tagline, synopsis, the premise, world of the story, 3-act structure, treatments. But most critical is the script. Because when people have to look at which script makes more sense here, That's when they'll choose that. They say, this script is good, but it needs more development, for example. Okay, I mean, if you apply to them, like, your script is good, but it needs more development. Go work on it more. Go work on the major turning points. Go work on the next characters here. That's what the NFF, because whenever you get rejected by NFF, they have an obligation by law to tell you why you did it wrong. So that next time you apply, you can take whatever you did wrong and fix it and you apply again. Okay, guys, I think that's it. Then I can give it over to the project director. Thank you guys for your time. I hope you learned something. Name is Nceba Mqolomba on Facebook, Eastern Cape Film Festival, Eastern Cape Film Forum. Those interested in being part of the WhatsApp group Film Forum, please let me know. I'm around. I'm not going anywhere, so we can just interact. We can network, and I'm around. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you so much, Nceba. That was great. Fantastic, right? Yeah, that was really I'm so happy that he's also saying that he's here for the rest of the day. So please make use of that information that he has. Join the platforms. You also have hubs, I don't know, in Gqeberha, if there's actually a film hub. I know there's an ICT hub, but I don't think there's a film hub in Gqeberha. But in East London, we have Eastern Cape Film Hub as a platform. But now, if you are in Gqeberha, you have Nceba to assist you as students, to kind of navigate the different ways of how to actually get to a level where you become the producer, you become the writer that actually has the scripts being made into films, right? Yeah, so he runs those particular programs like trainings and things like that. So I would suggest that you do join his training programs, and also he does where they produce like films and things with young upcoming filmmakers. Join that platform as well, because then you also get to understand how the processes of set life is all about. There are a variety of productions that actually do come to the Eastern Cape from different provinces like Gauteng and Cape Town and KZN. That information, I understand that it's not an information that everybody would know. Wow, which production is where and how you tap into it. But through these hubs and companies like Nceba, also like I also facilitate those kind of things as well. My suggestion is that the more you actually get into being on set is where you actually start understanding the process of how the film industry works, right? Before you actually get to a point where you write and try to make your own films. So that's also just some information I wanted to share. Okay, so now what we're going to do is that we're going to have a short tea break. But after tea, you do not want to miss out. We have IDC in the building. Boo, 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 boo. We have IDC, and for those who don't know what IDC is, it's Industrial Development Corporation. So that's what they are. They deal with a lot of funding, and it's not only film. They deal with a whole different types of different funding, from industrial to what you name it, anything mechanical, whatever that that people do. But the interesting thing about the IDC is that they actually have a film unit, which is brilliant, you know what I mean? For a platform that's been dealing with so much loans and funding and everything, they actually have a platform for film and media where you can also actually get equipment, which is wonderful, which is everybody's starting point. Right. So we have them. They're going to be talking about it. So that's what's going to happen after the break. So enjoy the tea break, and we'll see you shortly again. And the tea break is 15 minutes. Yeah, but we can make it shorter. So let's say what's the time now? Yeah. So let's say by 22, we come back into the room. So you can just get some air, maybe talk to Nceba a bit, get some tea, and then we'll come back again shortly. Hi, welcome back. Welcome back. Hi, everyone. Hi there. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the second part of our session. Officially, tea time is over. Those that came in late to have tea only now, tea time is over. But tea will always be available. Thank you, everyone. Can we just have a moment? Can we just have a moment? The conversation is happening here now. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed your tea. I hope you had a bit of networking, asking questions, and anything that the networking is happening here. I hope you really enjoyed and gained some more insight into what the day is looking like. Okay, so what I wanted to actually find out, are there any musicians in the house? Like musos? What, do you play instrument? Do you sing? You sing? You also sing? Instrument. Which one? Oh, wow. Okay, great. Because we have a music, there's a music room here at the Joza Youth Hub. There's a music room, so it would be great if we can have a jam session, maybe during lunch or maybe in between or whatever in the networking, just before we all leave or just before we watch the screenings, the films later on in the day. Just to jam it up, because also music is a very important part in the film, right? Music is what also makes the film come alive. Right. So thank you. What's your name? What's your name? Fidel. And what's your name? Nolwandle. Nolwandle. Nolwake. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to have both of you doing something, jamming it up. Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. We're going to look forward and we really appreciate your participation into that. All right, good. Who remembers before we went on a tea break, who did I say is coming up? And what does IDC stand for? Yes, yes. We're loving this. Now, I love to say the full names of what these abbreviations are all about so that you know and remember what they are about. And who remembers what I said about what they're going to come and talk about? Yeah. The most important. Okay, so now the honor that we have is we have a lot of the IDC representatives. They are here, all of them, coming to us, which is amazing. I mean, this is a very important day for us all here. This whole festival, when 3 people come, that's when you know it's serious, right? It means they're coming to really talk to us about money. Okay, so who we're going to have as a representative from the IDC, we have Mr. Malibongwe Nzuzu. And he's actually going to give us a presentation around what IDC is funding. Now, the interesting thing about Mr. Nzuzu over here, as young as he is, he's actually done a lot of things. He's actually also coming from being in different productions himself, which is very interesting. He's been in gospel productions. He's been in a few different leadership productions. He's got his latest gig that he's conceptualizing, which is called Royalty Soapy Awards. I mean, like, how brilliant is that? And that's something that has been held like at the Durban ICC back then. Not yours. Well, okay. That's the well. It's a catch-22 then. It's a sticky situation. Or it's your old profile. Far from it. Okay. No, then you will have to do the honors of actually taking us through a little bit of why you are here and also how come you get to be at the IDC. So please welcome Mr. Malibongwe, and he's going to take us through the youth funding opportunity at IDC. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Malibongwe Nzuzu. I'm actually a deal maker at the IDC, so I do finance essentially. So deal maker, that's when you apply to the IDC, your application will probably come through to me, especially if it's in the media space. It will come through to me. For what's then is on my side is to prepare the transaction or prepare the application, so that we can take it up to our credit committee, which is the committee that gives the final approval before we disperse money to the applicants. So my role is simple, trying to help the applicant to get the application to the standard that the committee will approve, essentially. So that is my role. My background is, no, we'll skip that. Yeah. No, I'm actually coming from an engineering space, and then I moved over to banking. So film, I've not really done much in the creative side of the film, but I've done quite a lot on the production side it's the production side of the film. More working with the producers, not actually producing myself. So yeah, IDC in the most, we work with the producers who are seeking funds to then finance the films. I understand, my brother, you are a producer, right? You're not a producer. Okay, yeah, but we work mostly with the producers who are looking for funds to then fund films, which hopefully become successfully commercially and story wise. Yeah, I get that earlier on that we've got creatives who are there more for creative expression in the film. But I think from the IDC side, we are mostly in there for the commercial side of the film. So, because as much as we would like to see the beautiful films with quite a good creative expression in the films, we also would like to see the producers having commercially viable films. I think the days where producers or the people in the creative industry die poor should be something of the past. We are trying as the IDC to encourage the producers to do the work for themselves, and hopefully it's something that's commercially viable, so that you are able to continue exploiting whatever your IP is, so that you get money as you go along, and you've got something sustainable to keep you going as time goes on. So yeah, I'm gonna go straight to the presentation. It's just gonna touch on high level on, say, who the IDC is and what essentially does the IDC do, and maybe what sectors are there in the IDC, and then maybe go to the important sector maybe for the sitting, which is the media and audiovisual sector. IDC, it's essentially one of the, it's the oldest DFI that we have. It is the biggest in terms of the balance sheet or the money that we have to lend. We were established in the 1940s, so we've been around for 85 years. And well, in those years, we've learned quite a lot on how to do finance and how to assist the clients. There's quite a number of projects, I think popular ones, Omarask, which was funded by the IDC, and the Sassols, which were funded by the IDC, that are operating in the space. So our really aim is to create jobs in the country and develop the industries that are in the country. It's the industries that are there, support them maybe with there are struggles, and also establish new industries that are going forward. In the organization, the media and audiovisual sector, it is viewed as an industry for the future. We know the minings, they are there as big industries. But mining, you will inevitably get to a point where you do not have something to mine underneath. But the creative sector, you don't get to that point. You can always create something or create assets that you will then get money from. So it is viewed as something for the future. The mandates of the IDC, I think we've spoken to this. We can maybe move on. It's really about supporting the industries and getting to a point where these industries are functioning on their own. Okay, as I indicated, the IDC, we support quite a number of sectors, be it mining, agriculture, tourism. If you've got hotels to fund, we do support them. We've got quite a number of strategic business units. We call them SBUs. It's abbreviation for strategic business unit. And amongst those strategic business units, we've got one we call services, where it's not really about creating a product, but offering a service to the people or consumers or your customers. Under that business SBU, the services SBU, we've got tourism, healthcare, ICT services. So if you are in any of those, it is something that falls under the business unit that I'm in. And the fourth one in those, the fourth sector that we look at, it's the media and audiovisual sector. Media covers, it's anything in the media space, your newspapers, advertising, and in the media space that is covered in that. And then in the audiovisual part of it, it's more on the film side of the business. So we do have that specific unit that's looking at the films on how to fund the films. Essentially, the creative sector. It's not the full creative sector, it's mainly the film part of it. It is viewed as something important at the IDC. That's why there was a decision to include the units, to include the unit as part of the strategic business units that we have in the IDC. Let's go. The business, the SBU, essentially the media part of the SBU, we're looking to fund throughout the value chain of the media and audiovisual sector. It's starting really from the production of the films, maybe the equipment that's used in the film. We will look at the studios as well. And it's not just on the filmmaking, interactive media, your gaming. If it's something that you are interested in doing, we also do that. That's why the SBU is there. I think just on the side here, it's one of the series that we funded. You probably have seen it on Netflix, around the world in 80 days. It's it's one of those ones that we funded. It's a successful one. If I may mention that. Cool. Just maybe looking at what exactly does the IDC fund, it's we've classified it into three strategic pillars, if I can call it that. Feature films, your series, gaming, education. We look at all that. Your shiny floor shows, deal or no deal, that kind of shows that are then presented on TV. We will look to fund that if you've got a proposal around such. So anything content creation of that nature, we will look at. Essentially, what we do not fund, it's adult entertainment. So anything else, we will probably look at if you've got a proposal in that. And maybe under production facilities, it's almost everything under the facilities that are there to support the industry. It's sound stages or film and television studios that we will fund. I'm not sure how many are there in the Eastern Cape. The film studios or the television studios we do fund. Well, the Cape Town Film Studio was funded by the IDC. Yeah. I don't have the exact amount. It was around the 2010s or back in those days. So I wasn't part of the transaction, but it was funded by the IDC. The television studios, I'm not sure which ones we funded. Joburg? Which one? Sasana. Okay. No, yeah, I'll think that the name slips me. But I know it is part of what we fund. So if you want, it's usually the television studios are somewhat cheaper than your film studios because the sound stages are quite big. So those ones are relatively easier to fund. And if say you are running maybe a long form production, it just makes it easier to fund in the back of that. So it is something that we look to fund because it does support the industry. Usually if you bring something like that, you then can bring the gear maybe around there as well. It just makes filmmaking around the area become easier. Gear rental, we do fund that. Yeah, I know most places are covered by the e-media. It's film services, e-media film services. But we are looking to fund entrepreneurs who want to establish such businesses in the area as well, underserved areas especially, so that yeah, filmmaking can become easier in those areas. Production services, support services. So your production services companies, if you have one, you would like to interact with the IDC concerning that, it is something that we do support. And then on the pillar for post-production and audience development, we do support that. Dubbing studios, I'm not sure if you've done one, but if you are looking to do something of that nature, we welcome such distribution or go to market strategy. We do support in that area as well. Post production facilities, yes, we can support you on that if you post production facility. No, not recently. Yeah, no, we were out of the space for a couple of years. Yeah, on funding media because I'll get to it. Let's go. Okay, the Yeah, we've got a number. I think last year we were, Songezo had a couple of things, but yeah, we then lost him along the way. I think there were a couple of things that he wanted to do in the Eastern Cape, especially on the film studios side, for the. Okay, yeah. I was still waiting for those applications. Oh, okay. So there's still some coming. Okay, no, that's great. That's great. Okay, yeah, no, that's great. I think I was saying at some point we were out of the film space because yeah, we made quite a number of losses on filmmaking. So we produced films, but they did not really sell in the market. And yeah, to a point that the executive team decided that we no longer gonna fund in the film sector, media and audiovisual sector. The plan was to sort of close it down. But obviously, from the discussions, it became clear that this is quite a strategic sector for the country, and yeah, it is quite important for the IDC to be there. But then the role of the IDC in the space in that manner, it was that we will come in, but maybe more to provide loans, not grants. So yeah, in our mandate, what we do is provide loans. The IDC is it's under the Department of Trade and Industry, DCIC, you'll call it. So I think the decision was more that the DCIC itself, the department itself, that's where you will get some soft money in the form of tax rebates. But then in the IDC, that's where we will provide funding in a form of loans. Typically, when you are building, say, your financing plan for the film, you will get funding from different areas. I think earlier on, for development, you are likely to get funding from the NFVF. I think who did allude to that, yeah, Nceba. did allude to that. Typically, in the beginning, you will get funding from NFVF or one of the film commissions. I think around the country, probably the active ones will be your ECTC. No, well, film commissions. Okay, yeah, not a film commission, but institutions that support films, provincial institutions that support films. Eastern Cape, you will find ECTC. They will support. They will put some soft funding in the films. Yeah, at a certain stage, and then KZN, the tourism. It's KZN TAFA. It's Tourism and Film Authority. And you've got GFC in Gauteng, you've got Film Cape Town in the Western Cape. Yeah, I think those are the ones. And then nationally, you've got NFVF. Yeah. For ECTC. To the IDC. Yeah. Let me continue the presentation. But yeah, I'll attend to the questions. Okay, in here was that IDC, we provide loans. It varies. It's a loan, quasi-equity, or a equity. We take equity stake in the project. Yeah, I was presenting over the weekend, and so I think if there is issues with terminology, please maybe you can raise the hand so that I can explain on that. Because sometimes I just, assist. Equity funding. Yeah, there are projects where we will take equity funding. I think the typical ones will be the studios. Studios are quite expensive. Well, to tell you, application we're looking at, it's probably 1.2 billion that we're looking at. For one entrepreneur to put in the equity that's required to make that business work, it's usually difficult. So they will typically contact other players to partner to make that work. So equity funding we do provide in those instances. In the films, there is one where we've put in equity. I think we came in late on that film. We came in late. I can't give you the title, but it's on Showmax as is. Finish that. So we depending on how the business is structured, we do look at taking equity in some of them, but in most cases we go mainly with a loan. We typically use the loan for cash flowing. If you've got receivables, say be it a pre-sale minimum guarantee or DTIC rebate, you're not going to get your money up front so that you complete the production. We do look at advancing funds, cash flowing that so that you can shoot, and then when they pay, it will then repay the IDC. That's where we typically use the loan for. And then usually if there's still a gap, we will then use a quasi-equity instrument. So it's something between a loan and equity, quasi-equity. So we do typically use that to then fill up the gap so that you can start producing. So I think that's fine. Most of the story here is in the fact that the IDC, as much as we are a government entity, we are not funded by the government, and we're hoping we do not get to that space like some SOEs have been. So we would like to support businesses that are sustainable, so that we remain sustainable as well. We don't get dragged down the road. Sorry, my sister. Take questions. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I was asking for questions, especially relating to terminology. Sometimes I speak and then speak of quasi-equity, and no one knows what is quasi-equity, and then people are just lost. You see. If they then ask later on, they will have lost the flow of the presentation. So if it's just terminology, we can, yeah, please, I think, so that we don't lose each other as we go along. Yeah, the other questions we can save them for later on. Okay, thanks. So what we cover, it's actually throughout the value chain, and in the applications that we process to sort of ensure that we fund projects that are going to be successful. I think what we guard against mostly, it's the production risk, market risk. There is also financial risk, which is we're looking at overall at the overall project. Production risk, they talk more to, we are looking more at the production. Usually it's maybe answering a question on whether the producer, director, or whoever is doing the film is in the production process of the film. Can they deliver the quality that's required by the market? So if Netflix says we want this thing in 4K or HD or whichever quality, can the producers deliver to that standard, or yeah, whichever other requirements are there from the market? So it's mostly around that. So what we will typically look at in that is maybe who's the producer in the film, who's the director, DOP. We can get down to that depending on what's happening. And really the risk on that in South Africa generally, they are quite low, because you will find that you will have a producer not really experienced. I think as Nceba indicated, it's in the industry, it's quite important to collaborate. If you know it's your first film, you've not really produced something maybe to the standard that will be required by a Netflix or SABC, whoever is going to be taking, or you're planning to sell to, it is better maybe to have a supervising producer who will then help you to produce to that quality. So it's the risk on that in South Africa generally, they are low, because we can easily mitigate. What's usually the problem is it is the market, and that's where most of the issues are. And that we typically recommend that you interact with the market before, yeah, in the earlier phases of your plan for the production, so that you know exactly what is it that they want to screen in their broadcast or put in their channel. This does help you to avoid the pitfalls that I said IDC went through, in that you produce a film at the end when you want to sell, like, no, we do not want this because it is touching maybe on this subject, or it is discriminating against such people. It's, for some films they will reject because there's maybe a pet scene of a snake, something of that nature. Yeah, I understand, was it earlier on in the week, someone's production was disregarded because it was considered news, and whoever they were trying to sell to, they don't buy news. Like, no, we've got our crew, we send our crew to film the news, or something like that. So he did a documentary, but yeah, they couldn't take that, because they consider it news. So it is good for you to find out about those things earlier on. You don't do the entire production, and at the end you can't really sell the production. Then it becomes a waste, in essence. So the market risk is usually the big one in all this. We encourage that you do that earlier on. Probably get a pre-sale or something like that, or you interact with a distributor. If they can give you something like a minimum guarantee, you say, no, yeah, we are sure this thing is going to sell. We can put in some commitment because we like the project and we think it's going to sell. It usually mitigates against the market risk, and you can be sure if you do this earlier on, you as you are shooting, you know for sure you'll be selling to so and so. There's already an indication from the markets that there's people who like this. It then becomes easier for you to further exploit afterwards. Because if, say, Netflix likes it, it is likely that if you go to Amazon or whoever afterwards, they might like it, and you stand a better chance of making more money. Yeah, I think this is still touching on what we've observed as the gaps. It's mainly around it's mainly issues around the market and how you will then exploit your IP afterwards. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep it there. Or this some of the films that we've funded. Probably you've seen some in Netflix and other streaming platforms. Okay, animation, it's part of what we do. And this is generally the team that we have. Our divisional executive, Mr. Mia, unfortunately they couldn't come through, and our head of services, Mr. Babela, he was here last year. This year, unfortunately, couldn't make it. And then down here, it's the deal makers. So these are the people you are likely to interact with if you send your application there. I've got Mr. Mloto there. He is one of the people that you will also interact with if you send your application. And yeah, let's go. Recently, we launched what we call our Youth in Film initiative. It's an initiative that really it's targeting the youth. Okay, it's a number of slides, but I'll just take it on from the top. We IDC essentially we've got what we call a Grow Youth scheme in the IDC, which is a scheme that is dedicated for the youth. But we've sort of repurposed the scheme for this sector because, well, it is one of the sectors that we consider quite important. So from that scheme, we've got funds that we are purposing to fund the youth in the film space. So what essentially the fund does is that when we lend money, typically the interest rates for the grown-ups, or say about the people above the age of 36 or so, it will be a prime plus or roundabout prime, yeah, to fund in those loans or have a certain rate of return required if we are doing a quasi-equity or equity instrument. But for the youth, because we understand the youth, you are young, and usually you do not have as much social capital to raise the funds that are required or to pay the heavier returns. So we felt it is quite important for us to put in a scheme that will be dedicated for the youth, so that it becomes easier for the youth. So the scheme in total is about the scheme in total it's 1 billion, but split into two. We've got a part for funding. Funding is directly to the project. Well, in equity loans or quasi-equity, about 950 million, and then the 50 million part of that. It is used as sort of pre-investment fund, so to sort of help you out. It's called the Youth Development Pipeline Program. Yeah, we've got Mr. Mr. Nkutha. He is the champion for the youth for the youth at the IDC. So anything pertaining to youth at the IDC, he is the man for you. So yeah, you can talk to him afterwards. So the YPD development, pipeline development parts, it's got about 50 million. That money, we do use it in the project. So if you bring in a project that we think it's gonna work, or it has the elements indicating that it's gonna work, but maybe missing a few elements beforehand, we do take some of the funds from this money to put in the project, so that you can complete those missing elements to make the transaction work. And yeah, I think half of it becomes a loan, part of it becomes a grant of whatever we put in. Well, if the application doesn't go through, then it's yeah, it is a grant completely. But if it goes through, then the loan part is added into the loan of the projects as we go forward. And then who qualifies as part of the youth? Yeah, well, it's a number of points, but I think the important one was who qualifies as part of the youth. If you are below the age of 36, you do qualify as part of the youth. So if your application will be if your application will be submitted to our committee before you turn 36, before you turn 37, then you'll qualify as part of the youth. The requirement in there is that in the structure of the business, you should have someone who is in the youth. You should have at least more than 25% of the shareholding in the company, it must be someone who is part of the youth. Yeah, and the benefits, they differ really on that percentage of shareholding. So if shareholding is just above 26, I think you will get a prime less 2, and then if it's above 51, you'll get a prime less 3. So it becomes quite an attractive scheme, not really heavy on the return that's required. If we are putting in a quasi equity or equity instrument, the return it's around 6%. Mr. Manyata will correct me. Yeah, it's around 6%, which is quite good. Well, for the adults, it's usually it's the work, but say around 13%, 12-13%. So it's quite a big discount for the youth to ensure that we make this film projects work. No, I think I've touched on the pipeline development. We can go on. Yeah, and on the criteria, there's quite a number of points. I'm not gonna go through them all. We can chat about them after this. But that is quite a big opportunity for the youth that we have in the space, in that we can give you these at concessionary rates, very concessionary rates. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, I saw there's quite a number of questions. Yeah, can I take them now? Okay, cool. I'm a brother. I think you had one. Production house, yeah. Okay, for a film, we typically come in pre-production. So when you are sort of pre-production, yeah, when you are sort of finalizing your finance plan and yeah, we come in there. But I typically recommend that you maybe come to us just a bit early so that we know about your projects. Well, at times we do run into capacity issues. Yeah, so if we know about it, we can maybe sort of start early to work on it. But pre-production, that's where we come in, and yeah. I think the point I didn't indicate, the IDC, our funding goes up to 49% of the entire project. So I think it's been like that for years. Yeah, it's up to 49%. The other portion will typically come in from the other players that are there in the sector. I think yeah, it used to be as easier with the DCIC, but I think it's a bit shaky for now with them out of the space. Yeah. But then the other parts will be covered by the other institutions or film commissions that are there. Okay, my brother. On the fund size. The fund size, the 950 million. No, that's the total fund that we have for the youth. No, it's for all the youth projects that are gonna come through. So it's a billion that was allocated for the youth projects. So it's any youth project that comes through. So each project, IDC, the projects that IDC processes, they range anything between 1 million and 1 billion. It really depends on the size of your project. But the film projects, the size is probably, yeah, 15, 18, yeah, say $1 million US. They are typically around there. So that's about 18 million or so. Well, South African ones, they are even lower, something maybe between 10 and 15 or so. Yeah, sometimes are less than that. And the requirement from the ITC side, you'll probably find it's about 2 million or so. That, yeah, for the film. So in that 9 billion, that 900 million, we can do quite a number of film projects in there. Yeah, my sister. Yeah, but please don't buy a Land Rover with the money, my guy. Please don't. Yeah. No, no, no. If we will submit to the committee what's the funds are going to be used for. So after the approval, the expectation is that you will apply the funds as per what we agreed on in the application. So if in the application the camera was included in there, then you will be able to buy the camera. If it was not included, then you shouldn't be buying a camera with those funds. So it depends on what's in the application. And yeah, really depends on how much can you make in the market, and then it determines the funds that you'll require earlier on. Because what you will want if it's a business is that what's going to come in, it's more than the production fees, so that it's profitable, essentially. Okay, I'll go with you, and then I know too afterwards. You'll come after him. Okay, cool. We can go.
Thank you, sir. I want to ask a rather very personal question.
Okay, no.
The project here that was funded by NFF, ECTC, and also APEC. And I didn't know then about IDC because
Okay.
I was in a setting like this where NFF came with Film Hub to do this kind of Film Hub, do a roadshow on what they're funding and how to fund. So I showed them my script. They were very interested, and then I applied. Luckily, it was selected and approved. But now I'm stuck with post-production. I shot the movie in 2023. I've managed to tick the boxes that we're looking for in terms of risk. Mentor producer, the recognized Netflix, DOP, Netflix style, everything. But I want to find out, can I come to you guys and ask now for post-production, because I'm actually stuck with the offline edit and I'm unable now to actually pay the editor to finish up my work. So is it something that maybe after this I can just come to you and start to get the apply and finish this project? Because I feel like the project will take Eastern Cape to another level. It's a project that involves well-recognized faces on TV in same scenes with up-and-coming artists from East London, but from Eastern Cape as a whole. So I want to know, can I still come to you guys for post-production?
At post-production. Yeah, we do take projects at post-production, but obviously we'll have to assess that market risk and see if it's a film that's going to sell. If it's going to sell, then we'll take it.
So
Yeah.
I can talk to you maybe in between.
Yeah. I'm here tomorrow as well. Yeah, I think I'm here until Friday, I think. Yeah, so we can talk until then. Okay.
My question is, will the IDC partner with the university for the development of new programs in the media industry? So we're not taking get a loan from you, just coming as a partner. Give us like 1% of the 150.
Yeah, no. For the question on the youth, I will give my colleague here to answer.
You know now he's running away from the difficult questions. But anyway, sorry. So anyway, we're very serious about youth development. We really want to fund young people. Obviously, that's why R1 billion is not a small change. So you can do a lot with that. Coming to your question, we can partner. We are partnering with a whole lot of people within the media industry. I think what is important is if you show us that if we invest that money, because partnership is investment, if we invest that money, we'll have a return. How many of your students will then come and be prospective clients for IDC? That becomes very important. As long as you're saying, here's, you can invest your money. Well, you can hear me, né? Or is it for camera? You can hear me. It's for camera. Oh, okay. So that's what we're saying. If your young people would at the end of the day become our possible pipeline, by all means, we will invest that money into those programs. All that you need to do is to come up with a solid proposal, guys. This is what we want to do. We want 1% of 1 billion for this reason, and then we do that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think, yeah, maybe to put it clear, ITC, what we focus on, it's commercially viable films. So if we can demonstrate that there is a market for the film, we then fund, and it's coming from that incident that we were funding films, but they were viewed mostly as expression, creative expression mostly, in that they are maybe to take, yeah, it's creative expression of the producer director. It was mostly that, but they do not really make money in the market. So if it's of that nature, it's not really in the realm that the IDC will fund on. It's probably something that the Department of Arts and Culture will be looking at, if if it's preserving certain history, or maybe in addressing some injustices. It's not really purposed for it's not really set for the purpose of really making money out of the film. If it's not that, then it's not something that the IDC can look at. But I think around the equipment, it's similar question to what my brother was asking. If you including the equipment in the finance plan, it's something that will be covered as will make make the company remain profitable after selling. Then it's something that we can consider having in the finance plan. But if it's gonna increase your financing cost to a point where the film is no longer commercially viable, well, I wouldn't recommend that you include the equipment in that plan. Yeah, but yeah, it will really depend on how you set up that company. Yes, yes. Yeah, I know we do have a CSI department that's looking mostly at that side. I'm not really sure what are their battery limits on what they fund and what they cannot fund. Yeah, I can talk to that. But yeah, for those ones, if you send me an email, I can forward to them. They can then reply on what's their battery limits, on what they fund and what they cannot fund. Yeah, but strictly from the business units, we are focusing on the businesses, your for-profit businesses. NPOs, we do not fund. So yeah, on the in the business unit. Cool. Okay, my brother. Okay, individuals, NPOs, and NGOs stuff. We do not fund. We only fund your for-profit businesses. So that will be a PTY, close corporation, CC. Those are the that's what we accept as those are the entities we accept as applicants. Individuals we do not fund. So if you are an individual, you will have to open a PTY, and then we fund into that PTY. We only fund companies. Yeah. Okay. Loan. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. You'll have to remind me. I think it was a number of questions. I think there was one around the credit checks. We do credit checks earlier on before we onboard the company as the applicant to the IDC. But those credit checks, they are to check if you've got anything malicious. I'll say it's if you are owing some creditors and you are running away from them, it's more to check that. It doesn't mean if you've not taken a loan before or we do not have a credit history, we do not fund you. The credit checks that we do, they are mostly to check if you you are in good account with your creditors. So if you had a loan, probably you defaulted and made an arrangement, we will still fund you if you've made an arrangement. But if you are running away from the creditors, then it becomes an issue. But for the youth, mostly you'll find no, they've never taken a debt before. Then it will be clear on that side. We do not stop funding you because you do not have a credit record. Yeah. So for the youth, it doesn't really cause any problems. It's only for people who are running away from creditors that we tend to have issues with. And yeah. I think the second question was how to. Okay, no, I can't recall what was the second question. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that question. Ultimately, it's on how the project is going to perform in the market. What we typically would like to see is that you've had interaction with the market. I think for most people, okay, we've had some going to the SAPC, but okay, SAPC has got issues now. But we've in the films that we funded in the past 2 years, they were based on interactions that the client had with EVOT, that's the ETV platform. Yeah, which then said, no, we can give you a pre-sale on this because we believe that these films are good enough to be shown on a platform. So it's really about that. But I think what typically becomes a problem for the youth is to get those connections, to get to talk to ETV or whoever. And that's where they will then partner with someone who will take them to that. I think the partnership for the youth, it comes in that form. But if you are part of the youth, you can approach ETV and get something of that nature, then we will go ahead with your application. We won't force you to a partnership with someone else. We won't require that you get into a partnership with someone else. Yeah. Yeah, repayment, it's tailored to the cash flows from the film. Saying the loan, we typically use that to cash flow. If say maybe the EVOD says we're gonna give you a pre-sale and we will pay you in when you deliver the film, we will then give you the payment. But you require that money earlier on during production. We will give you the money, and then we will recoup when that receivable becomes available. We don't expect the producer to make a payment in between. So we will take from that money when it becomes available. And the repayment of the other loans, say the venture loan, it becomes difficult to time when exactly is the money going to come through when you're selling the film. But the repayments are linked to that. Say when the money comes in, then there will be a payment coming to the IDC. Usually, it's there is negotiations on how the payment is gonna work. For the capital, typically that will be paid first, and then maybe the interest will be paid further later on, maybe after the producer has also recouped some of the monies that they contributed. So it really depends on how that is negotiated. But the expectation is that the payments are going to come from the monies generated by the film. Yeah. I'm not sure if it answers. Yeah, and well, yeah, the tenure of the loan, it's usually quite, for a venture loan, it is open, it is quite open. Yeah, because we do not know when exactly the funds are gonna flow. When are you gonna sell to a certain territory? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, maybe the last one. Yeah, yeah. I said interactive media. No, not when you do not have a license. Yeah, we would like you to have a license and then you can come through to us. It's a radio station. Yeah, no, the radio station studios, we do that. For the community radio. No, I don't think there will be one. Well, yeah, even on the commercial, on the community radio stations, we expect them to be commercially viable before we fund. Yeah. So in that we will typically provide funds for the capital capex funds. So that's for equipment, maybe the building as well, and working capital. So to get you started. So that's the portion that we do include as well. Cool. Hi, Yulis. No, we've not dispersed as yet, but we do have applications in the pipeline. Well, yeah, I think one has got ECDC in it. to to it. Yeah, I think we do have applications. It's not as many. I'll say that. I think the intention was to launch with certain partners during the youth month, which was last month, to see if there is some way where we can further assist the producers. We did not get as much a response from the industry to do that support. So the applications we have, it's applications that are just coming through the IDC in the normal process without those partners. I think it's the SAPC. We had. I don't know what we call that. On Monday, we had SAPC at the IDC. They were presenting that they are studios, Henley Studios. They are open for the youth. If you are trying to get post production studios, you can actually come to them. Yeah, but I think they will still charge you, but maybe at somewhat preferential rates, to use their studios to do your post production and yeah. So yeah, we do have applications, probably about 5 or 6 that are going through. But there's some other people that we've spoken to. I think they're just trying to sort out the market issue. We're trying to link them with some producers so that they can get it success. Okay, thanks. Okay. Yeah, If we sort of try to put in more efforts. I think even for the films that we have that did not really perform, what we are trying to do now is to link up with some distributors and see if we can still sell the films. The IP doesn't really expire. It's not an asset that will go bad, go sour. So it lives sort of forever. So we try to take it to other distributors and see if we can exploit further. That's why maybe when you come earlier on, we want to check your distribution agreements and stuff to see if there's no pitfalls in that. I think previously there were films where the producer maybe makes an agreement with the distributor to give the film in perpetuity, which really doesn't make sense. When you want that back to sort of recover whatever you can recover, you can't, because the distributor will ask you to pay because they were given the rights in perpetuity. So we sort of look out for those things so that we have a chance to exploit further if we've not made our money. Okay, cool. Yes. No, the ITC, it's a national TFI, so we do not. No, there are no allocations per province. We allocate for nationally. So if I do not have the figure for Eastern Cape.
No, the other thing is, colleagues, if we're not getting applications from ECDC, from Eastern Cape, what should we do? So the point is that the money is allocated for the entire country. We expect you, we come and we are here now to try and get applications from you. So if we're not getting applications from Eastern Cape, there's very little that we can do, because we go to rural provinces, we go and go to make all these things. We do that, and then we want applications from Eastern Cape. Yes.
How much have you given support to the Eastern Cape Film Hub on spreading the word?
So as we said, we are a national organization.
No, we are in Eastern Cape Provincial.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and obviously I don't want really to make a dialogue, but the point is that whatever they just said now, if they have an application, can they bring it? I said to them, we will be more than happy. So if this young man has a film now, we will be more than happy to finance that. So the point, he has a production now. He says he wants post production. We said we are happy to take that application. When we come,
We have 15 that we just shot now for the film talent. They've shot it in 48 hours.
so have they come to IDC?
They are showcasing it on the 4th.
We are here for
Yeah,
those.
Please
So-
fund them.
So the important thing, guys, is in each and every business, and particularly I'm speaking to young people, in each and every business, you need to have a product, but you also need to have a market. So what's the use of us funding films that cannot be sold anywhere? So that's why for young people we insist on pre-sale. What is pre-sale? Pre-sale is SABC saying, if you bring your product, we will be able to aid and we will pay this much for it. And that's a market. So you can have 48 films or whatever films that you
We're giving the winner 50,000.
Sorry, everyone. I think we're going to be able to continue with the dialogue on a separate way, Lunga. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much, everybody. We are really appreciative. Okay, I'll give you a moment. I'll give you a moment. I know the conversation about money is a tough one. I know that. And I'm sure Ngoku, the blood is boiling. Ne? But I'd like to take this moment to appreciate the IDC for taking us through that presentation. I think information is very important, you know. Before you actually tap into certain things, you need to inform yourself what it is that you are tapping into. You know what I mean? So that you can understand when you get your results. Even if it comes back as a decline, you understand why you've been rejected, and not to go around saying you were rejected because you're black or you this or, you know, you're young or you've got no what, you know. You now you understand what the processes are, and you also understand what is required from the institution itself. What is it that you need to gather for yourselves as well? And I want to highlight like a very important factor. Distribution is a very important element in your film. So when you are thinking of developing your film, understand the distribution platforms that are there, right? Like, okay, we know SAPC, everyone knows SAPC. They are where they are now, right? They've got problems, they do have problems, but they do offer distribution platforms for filmmakers, especially now that they're actually looking for content because they are on a serious digital migration, right? So they're really looking for content. So that's where you can really start, you know, and understand how they. And luckily, with our amazing time that we're going to have in the 3 days with the Film Expo, the SABC is going to be here, you know. So you need to watch out for that presentation that they're going to make, so you can understand what is there, what are the processes. And that is what is important. So when you're writing your films and you're working with a producer, the producer must learn the processes of a distributor. They must know what is required, why they are wanting such films, how you can actually get your films in, and so forth and so forth. And there are distribution companies, there are companies like PTYs that act as a middle person for the broadcasting platforms. So familiarize yourselves with those type of information, and that is how you're able to tap into IDC funding, because you also have done your pre-research. Don't rush to go and apply. Do your research first so that you actually have the capacity to get into the processes of them looking at your application. We understand that, right? And it makes a lot of sense. So thank you very much, IDC, for that. It was a great presentation. Okay, so now we're getting to that time where we're going to break for lunch. But it's not ready. Okay. Before lunch, okay, we've only got one speaker, which is Luzuko. Okay. All right. Okay, so lunch is not ready, so sorry for that announcement. I don't know if you want to take a little bit of a break, or can we get straight into our master? I'll tell you why I'm calling him our master. I'll tell you why. But what do you feel? A little bit of a breather? We continue. Love it. Love it. That is also how I feel. Okay, so the master, the reason why I'm saying the master, who here has watched Of Good Report? I mean, I take it that we are filmmakers, we watch films, right? Who's watched Of Good Report? 1, 2. You've watched Of Good Report? Give us a highlight. Just enjoy the highlight of that film for you. Yes. Ne?
Hello everyone, my name is Lefa Mohale. I've watched A Good Report. That film is fascinating. It is also exciting as well because the lead actor there is not talking at all, which is something that is very different about that film. It's very rare to see a lead actor not saying anything in a film. The only people that are talking here are the other guys, the supporting and the featured guys. So, yeah, I can't dwell much because I've forgotten what really happens there, but it's a very good movie. It's a very good movie.
No, thank you. It is a very good film, and it's brilliant for the fact that the producer that you are talking about is here. He's here. He's the master I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Luzuko Dilima with us. The producer of Good Report is an award-winning film, and it's in international platforms. It's screening. It was screening on Showmax. It still is, and now it's even on Netflix, which is a big thing. You know what I mean? For a local production of the essence that is also produced by local filmmakers who've also started where we are as beginners. You know what I mean? So please give a big, 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 big round of applause for Master.
He's so kind. Ndingayibeka apha. Molweni. Molweni. Igama lam ndinguLuzuko Dilima. The producer from New Brighton Entertainment. New Brighton Entertainment is a production house that's based in the Eastern Cape. That's got 2 wings, film production, and our New Brighton Pictures, where we produce feature films, documentaries. We are now venturing into TV series. And we've got another wing that does exhibition and distribution, which we've called A-Free Cinema, where we do regional film festivals, public screenings. We are currently busy with our first training program that's happening in Mthatha for the whole month of July. We are training 16 youth at Nelson Mandela Museum. They are currently sitting with a TV writer for the whole week that is imparting her skills to them. I'll take over next week when I go back there and take them through with the production course. Mine today is to present a film industry value chain for independent filmmakers. I hope bakhona abantu here who have, I'm just gonna sort of shed light on the stages of a film from an idea to a product. Like Nivile Mosivu, a project here of Good Report. Of Good Report, we shot it here in the Eastern Cape in 2012. Somerset East, it's now Kwanocholi. It's also our hometown. It took us 2 years to develop, 1 month to shoot, 1 year post, and then after that it was doing platforms like, it went straight to cinema after festivals. And then from cinema, it did online IndieFlix internationally, BFI player. And then it came back to Showmax. From Showmax, it went to SABC. And then from SABC, it's now licensed by Netflix and Amazon Prime. So, economically, at the stage of actually selling your film. Economic filmmaking, once you do proper, once you observe the discipline of filmmaking, you will eventually make money. So I'm going to take you through those who have no idea. I know we are filmmakers or administrators here and colleagues, but now I'm talking to someone who does not have a clue, but they have an idea that they have this story that they would one day want the whole world or the entire country, used to be my prayer, before I could actually achieve that, to watch my film on platforms like SABC or Netflix. I love SABC because they have the massive reach of the country. And as a production house, we don't just produce films. Like my first film that I ever worked in was addressing xenophobia, was addressing corruption. It was called A Small Town. It's called A Small Town Called Dissent. That's when I cut my teeth in filmmaking. Now, that film inspired me a lot to actually leave my cushy job at the bank and actually join the film industry full time. So we don't just do films for willy-nilly. We want to address issues. Of Good Report is actually addressing a lot of issues, especially underage drinking, teenage pregnancy, femicide, drug abuse, GBV, all those issues. We did this film in 2013, and it wasn't smooth sailing to even get it to the market. It's got its own stories, you can Google it. But it finally made its way to the market, but it did not reach the audience we wanted to actually reach. We didn't have the national debate about blessers, for instance, about GBV, because the film is out there. When it was licensed by SABC, it was licensed to transmission 12 times in a period of 2 years, but it only transmissioned 3 times. I wasn't happy, but it's what you get in the industry as long as it's out there. So now it's on Netflix, so please go watch it whenever those who are subscribers of Netflix. It's a good film. We have done, after that, a documentary with my after students titled Pride, that is dealing with the discrimination of the LGBTQI communities in our locations. So that was launched at London Film Festival last year. So it's also on its way to the market in terms of the value chain. And ECDC has recently also funded us in what they have called a micro grant, together with Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality's Small Arts Grant, to develop a film about human trafficking. So we've already done 8 minutes of that. I've got a rough cut of that I hope to show sometime during the festival. We are still developing another 16 minutes of that with the students in Tata. They are busy writing as we speak. So that is what our company is largely involved in, apart from other things that are in distribution and exhibition. Okay, let's get to it. So how many people here that have just a story in their mind or a book that they would like to convert into a screenplay, into a TV series, into a feature film, into a short film? 1, 2, 3, 4, there's quite a lot. Né? So if just by show of hands, who has identified a book that they'd like to? Oh, okay, let's start with the idea. Who has an idea, just an idea? How many people, by show of hands, who have an idea? Okay, idea. And is it your original idea, or is it an idea about maybe someone whom you have to go and ask for permission to maybe explore the story further? Is it yours, so it's an ideology, so you can just start. So you have less work to do than someone who has maybe some published work, like a book, because usually books are ready. In terms of available content, it's the lowest hanging fruit. No, not yet. I'll allow for questions. In financial show of hands, just an idea, so that I can tell them which route they're gonna take. Because if you have an idea, it's yours. You just need to go through the process of finding out how to actually pen it down. But if it's a book, you have to go the legal route. You have to get something like an option, something called an option purchase agreement or an option agreement, where you go to a specific writer or to the publisher. You tell them, I'm going to speak from a producer's point of view, that I'm a producer, I'm interested in making this specific book into a TV series or into a feature film. I will pay you this much for a certain period, which you will both agree and you sign about it, that you will not speak to other producers or pursue with other creatives about this book. That's the option purchase agreement for the period that you as a producer are securing, that you're gonna take that and you're gonna go and secure finance and get sponsors, but you have a limited period that you have, that is renewable if you want. Maybe this person will renew it after 2 years, but you have to pay them. So you start paying, I'm saying you start investing energy and your resources at this stage. Because if it's a book, you have to pay. If it's your idea, then you have to maybe get a screenwriter immediately on board. And screenwriters go by time. You have to pay them per week, per month. It depends on what they're actually doing for you. Next slide. Let's say now you have secured, you get the money from ECDC in the future. I'm gonna say they've got money for option agreement, and then now you have to now secure development finance. Now I've made up my mind. I want to make a feature film. So my feature film is gonna take say 90 minutes. And then it's going to address whatever that the book is talking about. I have to now convert the book into a screenplay. I have to hire a writer. I have to hire a script consultant. I have to hire researchers. I have to hire editors. And I have to attach a director to the project. Because now, once it's going to be a feature film project, it needs all of those creatives at that stage to be involved with the script, whether it's a book or it's just an idea that now has to be developed into a script. Because for us to have a product in this field, you have to have a script. So this is your path towards a script. And then once you have a script, you have a product. It's your Bible. It's gonna guide the entire value chain process until editing. Next slide. And then once you get those people into a working team, that script is gonna now give you the departments of the production process itself. We are still at pre-production stage. And pre-production stage can take from any time from 6 months. I've experienced 2 years. Most of the time it takes 2 years. So as a producer, you are spending money for 2 years without making money. You are hiring people to package this feature film of yours that is only in your head for now, and maybe only in summaries and in drafts, but you know it's a product. It's coming to be a product, but you are spending money, you are spending resources, you are not making money. At that time, you are going broke, you are blowing your pocket, you are fighting with everyone close to you, with your family, because you know, and that space is not funded anywhere in the Eastern Cape. You are on stage number 3 of the development process. There's nowhere, you have to wait for NFVF to take out a call and say for funding for this, and then you're gonna compete there with other people around South Africa, and chances are, as Nceba, you heard him, there's a lot of rejection happening, because at least from there you can start applying with your concept at a national level, not at a provincial level yet. You'll be lucky if there are those funds that you'll be creative enough to use at this stage, because you have to now get a casting director on board. You have to secure a cast. You have to know who's going to lead, who's going to be the antagonist. You have to break down the script into a budget, into a schedule, into your locations. You have to secure. It's not easy when it comes to all of those things. In this short film I just did now, I spent 2 weeks securing one location. I could get everything was fine, but I couldn't secure the main location. And we kept changing and changing. I was frustrated for the entire 2 weeks. Finally, God made a plan, and we found the perfect. It always works like that. When you give up, you find what you're looking for. And then finally, you will have now a budget. Like once you break the script down to those departments and compartments, you will have your budget to the T, which now will take you to your production process. But before you get there, you must go get the money. Now, that is where your people like your IDC come in, but they don't come in immediately as you had. You you have to go to a place like NFVF, because NFVF have got the mechanism to actually look at the script. They hire people like us as panels to look at the creative work so that we can advise the officials which is the best application for them to fund. So you have to go through that process, and then you get all the funders into your cash flow. The first ones agree, the secondary ones agree. You have to scan the suitable funders for the level or the type of budget that you are actually expecting to achieve. And then at the same time, when we were shooting Of Good Report Sivo, we were also talking to festival directors, sales agents, while we were shooting. Because the script, apparently, we started with the script in 2010, with Shamil, and then he moved to Cape Town, and then we did the back and forth. But once I approved the script, and then we sent it to third parties for peer review, everyone was raving about the script. So already people knew that there's this amazing script that now I have to go and secure funds for. But so people have already read about the film. They were shocked that we were actually making it. So there was a buzz while we were actually shooting. So you speak to those people post the production stage that are actually going to be your people to take it to the market, because that's the bottom line. And register everything with the WGSA Writers Guild so that it's now a South African product, so that when maybe it's really excelling, it's not an issue compliance-wise when you have to take it to international markets. Next slide. And then this is now, let's say after 3 years, I have raised, yeah, I have raised the 15 million of my feature film. I am gonna spend that 3 to 6 months of it with meetings in exactly the space where we're gonna work in the location, in that city or in that area where we've identified to actually do the principal photography. And then we're gonna have things like table reads with all the heads of departments on a regular. Everyone is now contributing what they will be doing during the production phase, during meeting stage. Wardrobe people are there, special effects people are always there. The director is now leading. I'm actually making sure that I'm approving whatever that we can afford so it doesn't go over budget. And then everyone is actually now on board. And then this is the shortest period. Production, it's usually, if it's not 3 weeks, it's gonna be 5 to 6 weeks. But this is where we spend most of that 15 million. Maybe we'll spend 10 million of that 15 million in production, because if you see the trucks, the logistics, the spin-offs that are happening during production, not only the cast, the crew, there's food every 4 hours. So for 30 days, you understand? There's accommodation, there's flights in and out. You know, Of Good Report was meant to be shot, for example, in Kayamnandi, in Dispatch. It was agreed, everything. We had the letter from the municipality of PE and all of that. And then there was an internal political war between the mayor of the time and his comrades, and he was chucked out. And then we were all chucked out. The projects were chucked out, and then we had no location. And then we already have covered the DTI rebate with PE. Fortunately, there's a film-friendly hometown that we come from, so we rushed back to Somerset East. We got the location in Somerset East, and there was no political turmoil there. And the picture was better in Somerset East. So there are even those things that you experience as challenges while everything has been covered. So you are lucky if you get all your shots during principal photography as per script, but usually it happens, and then we were fortunate enough, and then we started editing for 6 months, and then the film was in the can. We had a director's cut, and then we started sending it out to festivals. Now the hard work has been, the hard work stage obviously has passed. Now we have to by this time you are gaping, you have a gaping hole financially at this time. You are only thinking of recovering, and if you can, because chances are you may not. Because now you have to actually face the markets, the festival. So fortunately, we were, I think the first festival that accepted us was Rotterdam. And then Cannes, and then we went to Cannes. Fortunately in Cannes, we met the festival director of Durban International Film Festival. And then he watched it in France, and then he told us the following morning that, okay, guys, yeah, you are in the main competition, because he just watched it alone, and then a few days later he watched it. The panel watched it, and then we were told that we were actually headlining Durban International Film Festival. So it was a huge thing. By the time we get back, it was like media on my front door. How did you make it? And I still live now. I moved back to my mom's house in PE. So my production office was my dining room. I was working literally from home. But we managed to launch, regardless of the ban and unban of the film. We went to Stekeniko, was our first sale. And then from Stekeniko, we were invited at Toronto. And then from Toronto, LA, and then we won the best feature there. And then we started winning best features in Africa, and finally a SAFTA, best feature, all of those things. Those were good accolades for the hard work that we've done and the recognition, because all in all, I think the film got 30-something awards for the cast and crew. And then it went to the market. So it stayed in the market, it's still in the market even now. It's just that, okay. Yeah. Next slide. So that's what I was talking about, the festival run, industry reviews. I'm still screening it publicly whenever I have a chance via Free Cinema. And I want to thank the SABC, because the most significant license deal for in my experience was the one of SABC, about the reach, about the deal itself. It triples and doubles the others that we are currently doing. So there's a distribution phase, and we don't do it. The SABC license I did it myself directly, but what's advisable is you get a prominent distribution partner that is already in the space, and then that's better. It's less work. They know each other. They know the deals. Take what you can. It's not your space. They'll represent you well. That's my experience. And then you continue to exploit your product on various platforms, on TV, on VOD, on cinema. Sometimes it gets called as a classic. It comes back. Now they download it to own. And that is my little presentation. Thank you very much. Q&A. Any questions? Now you can ask my brother.
My name is Ogul. So you were talking about if you have a book that you want to turn into a feature film.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was thinking, is it possible to take, let's say, maybe an existing documentary movie and then turn it into a fictional film?
An existing documentary film.
Yes, a non-fictional film, and then turn it into a fictional film.
Yeah, if the owner is fine with that, because usually the documentary itself, it's a factual story, just like maybe a book that is not fiction, that is non-fiction.
Oh, so you don't have to, like, if he's already spoken to the people implicated in the documentary, you don't have to go through that process. You just talk to the person
I
who
think
created the movie.
you need to speak to the owner of the documentary.
Okay.
That's the deal. You need to make the deal with them. Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Lukona. I wanted to ask around copyrights in terms of protecting your work, because I think we've heard so many rough stories around sending your work to someone and then they'll use it 5 years later. I want to know, how do you protect your work as a filmmaker pre-production? So in a sense of when you send those ideas, are there any, maybe a writers guild or whatever, what are the facilities for someone to protect their work basically?
One, it is the Writers Guild of South Africa. You need to be a member. Obviously, you need to comply as a writer to become a member. Then they have mechanisms where you register your work under their database so it's protected. That's the best way. Secondly, people say whatever you write, email it to yourself. Once you email it to yourself, whenever you see something similar to it, you can challenge it that in this day, I'm the one who's the original concept owner of this, and here's my proof, and then you can maybe fight it out legally with that person. But in TV, it's a very vague space, because even when you are submitting your work, they tell you that there's a clause that say, this may not be your only idea, we may have similar ideas, we may go with, so please don't challenge us because it's not going to work if you do. Yeah, so, yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dilima. The last time I met you, it was a long time ago, before 2019 when we were starting with this process. As I've introduced earlier, I'm Nceba Mqolomba, Director Planning and Economic Development at Sarah Bartman District.
Yes.
What I would like your advice with your experience. What will be the role of local government to respond, react positively to opportunities created to screen movies or to produce movies? Currently, we are very reactive, and results sometimes caught wanting. Yeah. And it takes long to respond to that opportunity. As a result, losing out. We know films do create jobs. We know films do create skills transfer, things that we really want in small towns where there is zero employment. With your experience and teams that you work with, what will be a checklist of what municipalities should do to respond favorably when opportunities like what you do can come to the district? The second component for me will be there are facilities, or there are areas we have 7 local municipalities. Obviously, with your experience, you will know which municipality is more attractive than the other. We've got a Karoo, we've got the coastline. And also we've got facilities that are not fully utilized, and land owned by municipalities that are not utilized. We don't have money, but we might have infrastructure that could support the growth of the sector. In Somerset in particular, we've got the industrial park, which I always say, before you came in, this could really be utilized for film and production. It's in your space, it's in your municipality, it's in Somerset East. Please, do you have any ideas that we can be able to utilize such a facility, which is huge, big, that could also be available as a space to create a film hub? My last one, we are not going to have film hubs for 7 LMs. We are not going to have film hubs for 6 districts and 2 metros. The districts and province should coordinate and really align themselves to be able to have these key areas that could at least create access to our locals so that they don't have to go to Joburg, they don't have to go to Durban, they don't have to go to Cape Town. At least Eastern Cape to have very good infrastructure that could limit and reduce the travel of our locals to areas as I've mentioned. Do you have something in mind that at least in the metro, that is the Nelson Mandela Metro, can work with Sarah Bartman to have something that's similar? The Buffalo City can work with other municipal districts in order to ensure at least we have 2 hubs instead of 6 hubs and 2 metros, or 7 municipalities that do not have the money and resources to do so. The state doesn't have money, but it allows us to coordinate, centralize, and then derive benefit out of that. Therefore, I want the role of municipalities in supporting the space. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for your question. The first one, I think it's quite simple. Local municipalities are not film friendly because they are not regulated. And Cleo Kobela Uti, municipalities don't have money. Okay. Glenn, within the arts or the creative space, if you check whether there are cleanser or there is a crafter or there is anything creative, but how do you receive it as an audience? Through a film. Even Segu, you following around a minister, there's a film crew. Everything comes either film or radio, just to cover what is happening around us. Now, that is the reactionary part. That's not the proactive part. If film is our medium to our surroundings. So if local municipalities do not have film offices to administrate film-related issues around them, as we have asked at the provincial level, that we need local municipalities to have film offices. And then those film offices are not going to stand there without people. They are going to be manned by filmmakers or film administrators. They will be officials of film, hired by that local municipality to know just film people, to run film events. Because there's quite a lot that now the local municipalities are missing, if it's missing the film element, just for its own operations, let alone the proactive part of actually now bringing in resources to write about what's happening or training children in filmmaking. You understand? But to regulate it, to make it easy, whatever you have as film offices for other sectors, you need to, as offices to administrate other sectors. Film as its own, it's a very intricate and expensive trade. One, for it to be dealing with a government that says we don't have money. It's dominated by, we know more Hollywood films than South African films, because they invested to the entire value chain to influence the space, because they understand once you influence, you control. So if our own government wants to control us or to control the narrative, they have to be serious about investing in film, regulating it. The mere fact that Eastern Cape doesn't have its own film commission, yet next door, Ikona, it's a big political issue where there's no political will. And you really cannot answer why, because it's a compliant issue when it comes for the government space to have that commission, because all the resources will come out of that commission. We're not saying we are replacing someone like ECTC, because it's more linked to tourism, attraction, and all of that. We are not saying let's replace UECPEC, for instance. UECPEC is for development from Utezrak, but if film as itself needs to have its own path that is regulated, then LMs will be represented, districts will be represented, then the entire industry will be stimulated, and then those jobs will just into the space. Thank you. I think, oh yes,
how you can work together. And I would just maybe like you to share more on your experience that you had when you had planned to do the work in dispatch, and then you had the agreement with the municipality, and you had all of those, legal permits and such, and then you had to make an alternative plan. So I think it would be valuable for maybe our students here to see how you work through those. What is the process where, you've got to go to the municipality and apply to, have your film written there? What are some of the costs that might be involved? I know when we film in Africa, and in each country's got a different commission that you've got to pay. You've got different municipality rates that you've got to pay. So maybe if you could just share a little bit more about that, just so that the students here can understand more about those processes.
Well, it's thank you. It really depends. In the Eastern Cape, there's less regulation when it comes to film. You can just agree and have your, because there are no bylaws in terms of fees, how much, and only in PE that you get that. Anywhere else, I haven't experienced it. But it's only PE that's got a set bylaw in terms of shooting permits and how you approach it. That's why it took me the 2 weeks, because we were shooting in PE. It wasn't easy to just go and shoot in PE. The municipality is actually paying attention to that space, especially, I'm sure, after Kabeh, I was also shot there. Now they know what the value of film is. Are you from NMU? Media department, which one? Okay, because I worked with NMU, Dr. Moodley and Janelle Vermaak. I had an MOU with NMU there was a project that we were doing between Kenya and South Africa by writer Ngugi wa Thiong'o that we were developed for 2 years, that we're turning it into a feature, which I tested the entire funding landscape of South Africa with that film, except for IDC and SAPC. But everyone else, your NAVF, DTI had an appetite. NAC, ECDC was on board with quite a significant amount. That's why and they just had one condition, that we needed to be on the eastern side of the Eastern Cape, which is why I moved to Mthatha. And then we actually did location recce in Kenya and in the Eastern Cape with Magwa and Boji. The director was very fascinated with those areas. But where I'm going with this is that I was working with NMU, so that in that project, I trained NMU media students. We had a full MOU, and then the agreement was that we approached the NLC lottery funding, the large grant to actually be part of the funding of this project. And the university was on board. It was not easy at first, but they initially were reluctant. But eventually, because the funding had to be done through the university. So we did that, but at the time, we had to submit that application twice to the lottery. At first, it got lost, and then second time, we were told there was no money. And then a year later, we heard that all the money went to a certain actress and a certain musician. No, it's a fact. So those are other challenges. You come with a solution, a unique one, that's going to help everyone and even the production itself, but the system just does not budge, Those are things that we meet in the streets. Yeah.
The project that you're doing in Kenya, how far did you get? Because now you didn't get the NLC funding.
Just up until, we did all of the pre-production. It's just ready to go to production.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's something that we could talk about, because National Research Foundation's involved. We've got MOUs now with the University of Nairobi. The Indian Ocean Rim Association funds these types of projects. So it's something that maybe...
Another delay was the minister hadn't signed the bilateral agreement between South Africa and Kenya at the time.
Yes.
I begged him in 2019. It was only signed, I think, in 2023. And then now the Kenya Film Commission is on board, because I saw them last year, I think, in Durban. So it's something we can pursue going forward. That was a big issue, the bilateral agreement as well. So another issue with us, with those type of international co-productions, is that South Africa does not have co-production bilateral agreements with African countries. It has more with European and I think with Busan as well, but none in Africa. There's that issue as well, because you may have an idea that's outside here in another country, but you may not have, you may not be able to move even paperwork-wise. Yeah. Okay, thanks. I think it's good. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Wow, hey. We could listen to Luzuko all day, all night. Like really very impressive. No, and I think for me, like the most important elements of his conversation and the journey he was taking us through is the fact that like it's all passion driven for development. You know what I mean? It's not a personal thing where, oh, I just want to be rich as this filmmaker, but it's a foundation for a development stage by stage where work opportunities have to be created. You know, and I mean, without a doubt, Luzuko, the work that you've put in and the capacity of the many hats that you wear is no doubt like profound, and we really appreciate philanthropists like yourself to be in the Eastern Cape, you know, and you don't have to be in Cape Town where already everything is there. I think my highlight of what was spoken of, I think the most important thing that we need to actually really make sure it exists is the fact that we really need a film commission in the Eastern Cape. Like we need a sort of base platform where there's going to be order, because then without that we're going to be ripping the Eastern Cape apart, and it's not going to be ripped off by us, it'll be ripped off by other people who are coming in. You know what I mean? And I like the fact that you speak highly a lot as well about municipality. That was a really I think you would also agree, Uba, that was a really brilliant advice, you know. It's important to be able, I mean, there's so much money the film brings into each area. Location itself, there's so much money. So if municipality, they have a division there for film, like that money that is brought in for your locations, it'll help everybody around, including the municipality itself, you know. So I think for me that like was a great advice and the biggest takeaway in all of what we were discussing here. Thank you once again. Thank you everybody. The questions that you asked are also really brilliant. It's like I feel like, you know, in the processes of everything that was presented here, your questions were meat, you know, they had so much meat in them, meaning that you're serious, you know, you're serious about what you're doing, and I love that. I love the fact that you're taking yourself seriously. Okay, I think we need to break it now. But no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Thank you so much. As we can see, lunch is here. And they will take time to set it up. But just to inform everyone, so all the delegates will have lunch outside, so there will be a spacing that will be prepared, simply because there's just not enough space inside and things like that. But you will get a direction as to exactly where it is. We will break for lunch. And then after lunch, because we've already had a presentation, Mr. Dilima, what we're going to do now after lunch, we're going to get straight into the screenings of the films. We watch some of the things, and I want you guys, when you watch the films, to really analyze the processing of what these filmmakers have done. You know what I mean? So that when you engage, well, Nceba is going to be here as one of the filmmakers. So when you engage on the Q&A, you're able to do Q&A with a relevant concept of why you're asking that question based on the film, right? Yeah. So that's what's going to happen, and it's going to be quite exciting. I'm looking forward. Yeah. So let's break for lunch. Let the people set up, and then we'll see each other again. What's the time now? Oh, no, I didn't even know. Yeah, please. Okay. Yes, please. Okay, sorry, just before we go, we should have actually announced this earlier. There is Wi-Fi that is available, so for posting and, making sure that the Film Expo is known out there. So our good sir here will share the password info, and then, yeah.
Okay, morning guys. I'm Nceba from the Joza Youth from Awareness, all the organizations that run the Joza Youth. It's great to see you all here today. We have Wi-Fi here that we share with the community. We are a youth development organization, so I see many of you are youth, but also those are above 35. IDC Technical Youth. They use it. So if you go to the VSA, it says VSA. The Wi-Fi is called VSA, and it's Max. Max is not dead. Capital M. Max is not dead. One word for me, please. He's still not dead, he's still alive. Max is not dead, capital M. Capital M-A-X is not dead. Okay.
Yes.
Great.
That's
Please,
what I was announcing. Yeah.
if you hashtag, you can hashtag SA Film Hub and IDC Film Hub, but please also hashtag Joza Youth Hub if you post something.
We're sitting up here in the lounge. Yeah. This is there was. Okay. Yeah. All right. We can go ahead.
Okay, just before you go, I just wanted to make mention again. What's the time now? Sorry. It's 10 to 2, so the lunch will be an hour. So if we can be back at least, say, 3 o'clock, right? And then so the delegates, the lunch is outside by the lawn, and then the presenters and we'll have lunch here inside the space. And I wanted to introduce you guys to somebody that is in the house. Somebody special is in the house. And it's a very important person. We were just talking about distribution. Sorry, can we just have a moment? Sorry, guys. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, excuse us. Thank you. We just want to have a little bit of a quiet moment as I'm about to make this interesting announcement, right? And it's for your benefit that you feel this moment with me. You feel it. We're just having a conversation about distribution. Who knows multi-choice? I mean, like, what kind of a question is that, right? But over here we have a representative from MultiChoice, Utebucho Mahlawa. Thank you. We welcome you with warm hands. Thank you for joining and being here. Yes, we are excited. That was my announcement. Now you can talk. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I hope lunch was satisfactory. I guess it was, judging by everyone's faces, right? Okay, so welcome back to the last leg of the day of us being here, and this is also another exciting part where we get to watch the films, and we also get to talk to, well, Nceba is here as the filmmaker. So there will be, after his film has screened, there will be a session for Q&A. So like I said, watch attentively so that you can understand the kind of questions that you'd like to ask pertaining to the development of the processing of the film that you're going to watch, right? So we're going to start off with a film called Zania. I mean, I'm not gonna go through. I don't wanna give too much information. I also would like to maybe allow you guys to kind of gather what the story is about. But Zania is obviously a young girl, and she's also got her siblings, and it's just about sorry. It's about variety of the way that her and her sisters live and the way they make food and the escapes. That it's just a journey basically that they're gonna take you through, I guess. So yeah, I hope you're gonna enjoy. And then at the end, you can have the Q&A. You can also share your comments of what you thought, which would really be nice, just to hear back as to what you guys think of the film and the analysis of what you gathered around the film. So yeah, are we ready? Please switch off the lights.
Nilel, Galpash, and his saws, Pagaman, 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 Sivu, Tami, Lisa, Pagaman, Pagaman. Nice try, Stanozam, but Beginikola Lamplanja, Sivuka Elis, your cleaning yadi, and the sooner we start, the better. And it up, Pagamani.